NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Live from Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix, you're listening to Real Hockey Talk. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Dave Isaac alongside Greg and Ed Smith, former Atlanta Falcon, but I don't even see him here right now, but I know he's here at the Great Twin Peaks, and I have a very, very two special guests, one that calls in weekly. We call him our hockey guru, the hockey guy from Boston who now lives in Phoenix. Rick, welcome to the show in person.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
This is very exciting. And, of course, you have a very special guest that you brought in I watched in the day, and you want to introduce?
I'd love to. I was very lucky when we moved here to the Valley back in 2009. I'm going to ramble a little bit here. Back to my youth, as you know, growing up in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I grew up in the Bobby Orr area and the Bruins, and when I was skating Bantams, back then everybody wore Bruins jerseys. But I've always been the type that needed to be a little different. So my mom took me to the local hockey shop, and I needed to be different. I bought a Minnesota North Stars jersey.
Oh, cool.
And nobody had a North. That's why I did it. I wanted to be different. And I played defense, and everybody wanted to be Bobby Orr. And I said, well, I'm not going to be Bobby Orr. I'm going to be Barry Gibbs. Well, lo and behold, 2009 comes along, and a men's club playing golf, and I see the name Barry Gibbs, and I see this gentleman, and I go over and I say, are you Barry Gibbs, the first-round overall pick in the 1966 draft? And he goes, how did you know that? And that's how I met Barry. And since then, we've been good friends, the family, and enjoy a lot of golf and hockey talk, and it's been fantastic. So,
well, Barry, welcome to Real Hockey Talk.
Great, thank you very much, Dave.
It's it's an honor to have you here. I grew up in L.A. I sort of wish I grew up in Canada or maybe the East Coast or somewhere like that in Minnesota, because I fell in love with hockey on my 21st birthday. And a friend of mine said, here's some tickets, Toronto against L.A. Kings on my 21st birthday. And what caught me back then is all you had to know is Dave Tiger Williams and Hutchison, I forgot his first name, of the Kings, and they battled 3 times that night. I was hooked. Now, it wasn't just because of altercation. It's just part of the game, or it used to be. But it was just the overall quickness, fast, speed, everything, excitement about hockey that I fell in love with, and I really excited you're here with us today.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, and it's funny meeting Rick like we did at Seville, and at Seville's a nice course, and we get to play a lot of golf, and we get to talk a lot about hockey as well.
So you live here in Phoenix now?
I certainly do.
That is so cool. So we should, go back to the day when number 1 pick overall. No one gets that except the number 1 pick. I mean, that's a rarity. You had to be thrilled.
Well, you have to go back to those days. And as a kid growing up, I lived in a town called Lloydminster, Alberta, Saskatchewan, right on the border. And when you were a kid growing up there, we had no artificial ice at the time, so you played hockey when it got cold enough to skate, and you were done when it melted in the spring. So playing hockey there and then going to turn professional, I turned
Incredible.
At a very young age. I was 16 when I was that number 1 pick.
16?
And
wow, I thought they had underage draft choices, but not probably back then.
Well, actually, my first game was in the NHL was before I was 18.
That is phenomenal. I mean, and you were, let's see, I think I read your stats, like 5'11"?
Yeah, I was. That's the difference between the game then and now. As a defenseman playing in the league, I was as big as anybody else and one of the bigger
Yeah.
defensemen.
Right.
Today they're all giants. I don't know what they're feeding them, but they're all 6'7", 6'9", or some silly thing, and
Huge.
they're huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And Rick, you probably have some.
Yeah, it's been great talking to Barry. You know, I get a lot of the inside stories, and you know, being back east, you know, I've only been out here 7 years. I played golf at a couple of courses back outside of Boston, where a lot of former Boston Bruins played that Barry worked through the system with.
Oh.
And you know, we could connect that way. You know, some friends, some villains, but the way I like to put it in perspective right now, we all talk about eras. Hockey right then, it's different. The style has changed. Training camp has changed. You know, we've talked about equipment. We've talked about how the position has evolved. But in to put Barry in perspective today, he's a top 3 defenseman on every team. Okay, so back then,
wow.
you really only had 4 defensemen, Barry, maybe a 5th dressing.
We'd probably have a 5th dressing, and we played 4, and most of the time, all the big games, we'd go down to 3
Right.
defensemen.
That's really. So you're saying today Barry would be?
Yeah,
in the
he
top
would.
3.
He'd be a top 3. So
That's phenomenal.
and I'm not doing it just to tease him because of the income now. But you know what a top 4 defenseman in the NHL makes right now? It's pretty amazing.
They're probably maybe 3 million,
3.5 and
Yeah,
up. You know,
yeah.
and that's the game. That's how important the position
But back
is.
in the day, I won't ask, but it couldn't have been a whole lot.
It's not hard to remember because I had to get on a bus and start heading home to get $10,000 signing bonus and 12 to play in the league.
Oh my! Wow. The 10 bonus sounds pretty good, but wow, it's just how the game evolved, and you know what can you do? But you know, I saw that you were traded. I think part of the trade, Boston to Minnesota.
Right.
It involved Tom Williams.
Tommy Williams.
Correct.
Is that the L.A. King that I used to watch? I called him Tommy Williams, or is it
No,
a different Tom Williams?
I think that was either a brother or a nephew or something, but that wasn't Tommy Williams.
Okay, because Tommy Williams for the Kings, who played with Mike Murphy, you probably
Right.
know Mike.
Yeah,
and,
different.
I used to watch them. I mean, they were pretty good forwards. I mean, you know, back then not the greatest King team ever, but that was back. When was that? That had to be in the early 70s, right?
I would guess. I spent from 69 season through to 75, I believe, with the North Stars before I went to the Atlanta Flames. So
Yeah.
I still played against a lot. Look, I've got quite a record too because my first game I played was the first game I ever saw live.
Oh, really?
Did you have one TV in the hometown you grew up in?
One TV.
Oh,
yeah.
that's too funny.
One TV.
Oh, that's hysterical. Really?
Yeah. So going to training camp was kind of pretty odd because
Oh, my God.
you know, things have just changed so much. Like when we played junior hockey, we traveled in a bus and miles and miles and miles in a bus.
Sure.
In a school bus, for that matter, and the snow would be coming through the windows, and we got stuck. We all had to get out and push the bus up the hill.
Oh, my.
And
That's amazing.
I'll never forget going into the training camp. Training camps are like 6 weeks long then. And it was there to go to camp, but there I'm not quite even 18 yet. I turned 18 while I was there. And worked on the farm, and so just physically in shape, just being young.
Yeah.
I walked into quite a surprise, actually. They put their teams into 2. Ted Green's team, which I happen to be on, and Busick team. And so you'd exercise and skate in the morning, and then you had inter squad in the afternoon every day.
Oh, my God.
And you mentioned Tommy Williams because he was my first experience of seeing this guy that he looked like he was pregnant. but I'll tell you what, at the end of the 6 weeks, he could fly. He was flying all over the place. He could skate
man.
forever. But yeah, it's different.
So who was drafted after you that year that you remember that maybe became somewhat well known?
Well, probably
You know, I don't know that.
Brad Park, probably the.
Oh, Brad
I
Park?
think he might have been that draft. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't recall, actually.
Yeah.
I think back then, did they only have 2 rounds?
Well, the thing back then is it wasn't that big of a deal.
Not like they do now.
No.
Not like it is now.
They make it an event.
It is.
And it's a great event. I've been the last, 4 or 5 of them, and it's actually the NHL does a great job hosting events.
Fabulous job.
Yeah, they really do. I'm a big fan of the NHL on how they treat people. I've been to some of the Stanley Cups, reporting. And so who's some of the people, you mentioned a few, but that you played against, some of the top names that people might know?
They're still playing, and I was young. I played against the John Belvos.
Oh, wow.
Frank Mahovliches, Gordie Howes.
Really? Was Gordie as tough as they say he was?
Gordie's a big, tough guy. He went into the corners with his elbows flying.
That's what I've heard. That is truly incredible. I mean, how blessed can you be with, playing in an era that was rich right now with history, right?
As I said, it was different, and coming from a small town where I came from, literally the first NHL game I saw as I played in, and that in itself was kind of a scary moment, but
yeah,
it was also a big moment of my life. And the other name that I got to tell you a story, because this is really funny.
Absolutely.
I was playing before I went to play junior hockey. I was playing in Lloydminster, and I was playing with the Pee-wee team, the midget team, the juvenile team, and a men's team. And at that time, I was probably 13.
Wow.
And after my dad said, "You got something really good. Play good tonight. I want you to play good because I'm coming to the game." Oh, and my dad was a truck driver, and not very often was a lot of my games. And we're playing the juvenile Western Canada playoffs, and in walks these people who I had no idea who they were. I was introduced to them. It was Baldy Cotton, Boston's head scout. Weston Adams, the owner of the Boston Bruins.
Oh.
Scotty Monroe, who owned the Estevan Bruins. And Mo
Junior
George,
18.
Junior 18, and Mo George, who owned the Junior B team. They come they were at the game, come in and sat down and talked to me and started talking to me, about going to play junior hockey or whatever. And when they left, I said to my dad, "What's junior hockey?"
Oh, that's pretty good.
I didn't know what junior hockey was, and that's where I went the next year and played with the Estevan Bruins when I was
at
14.
14.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when you were playing in those 4 teams simultaneously, you were also playing against guys older too, right?
Oh, we're playing the men's team. They were all older than I was.
Yeah.
So,
Man, that's just remarkable if you think about that. Because there's quite a difference, 13 and 14 and someone 18.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a big difference. But I guess that maybe made you better, too? Is that?
Well, I think so. I'm a great believer of letting somebody play to their capabilities, and the only way they can get better is to play with somebody that's a little older to extend your
Wow.
game.
Get pushed.
Yeah.
That is incredible. Now, did you ever play? I had a client named Don Kozak. They called him Crazy Kozak. Have you played against him?
I did.
Yeah, he was quite like the pinball. He would crouch down really low and just sort of like bump into people. He's fearless, though. Not the greatest fighter.
Is he Buffalo Sabre?
Yeah, I think so. But
So.
you talk about a little guy crouched down low, and you're going to remember this name because Leo Boyville.
Oh.
He played at the Boston Bruins.
Oh, is that right?
Then I played with him in Minnesota. And he was one of my defense partners as well. So Leo was about 5'4" and 200 pounds.
Oh, my God.
A bowling ball on skates.
But you talk how the game was a little different. He'd come and say, "Gibby, I want that guy. Make him come to the middle."
Oh, wow.
So all I would do is make a dive at this guy coming down the wall that he didn't like, and then he'd go into the middle quick, thinking he got by me. And next thing you see him in, be doing cartwheels through the air.
Is that right? Oh, that is too funny.
Right. Leo Boyville.
Now, you were L.A. King for a short while. 79, roughly?
The Los Angeles Kings, I was there 79, 80, 81, maybe as 80, 81.
I think
right at the end of my
Kozak,
career.
wasn't Kozak on the team then?
Yes, yeah.
Triple Crown line, or was that after?
No, Dion and Simmers and Taylor were there. Absolutely, yeah.
Do you stay in touch with a lot of these players?
Occasionally, I'm in a place where I can go play a golf game. I quit skating about 30 years ago. So a lot of the alumni, it hasn't helped me a lot, but I do love to play golf.
Sure.
And so I play in some golf tournaments. We'll see some of the guys.
Wow.
Golf tournaments, yeah.
But it's quite a big deal, I think, to be, part of any professional sport, especially hockey. And, I know the LA Kings would have people back sometimes during the last couple of years to celebrate them. But, yeah, that was the day. I had season tickets back then watching the Triple Crown line. Everyone, Dion, of course, superstar, Simmer coming up after he thought he was over and did all that remarkable stuff. He couldn't skate much, but Dave Taylor's one of my favorite players of all time. The guy had heart, right? I mean, this guy was, when they announced the top 100 players, I thought maybe Taylor could have made that team.
He should have had consideration. I mean, he had longevity. He could score.
He scored 42 goals a couple times. I mean, I don't know.
It's tough. I think those lists we talked about a couple.
Yeah,
of
Brent
weeks ago.
Burns not on the team.
Yeah, well, he's not on it, but Duncan Keith is.
I don't know.
It needs to be done by era. I mean, we can talk
agree.
about that.
I totally
all
agree.
Day long. If you look at out of the amount of players on that top 100 that Barry played with, I'll start. To me, the greatest of all time is Bobby Orr. I mean, I rank him. That's me personally. I rank him ahead of Gordie Howe. That's just who I am. Barry,
actually, you're not alone there.
Right, you saw that firsthand.
So you would agree to you played with Bobby Orr?
I played with Bobby, yeah. And so
phenomenal.
I'm here to tell you, in my opinion, the game's changed a lot, and it's and bigger and faster and all that is good. But the only player that I know, or the one that would stick out the most, which in my mind was the best player to ever play in the league, is Bobby Orr, and he's the same one that I think if he was playing today would still be a star.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, no doubt, right?
Yeah, he'd definitely be.
He would be right. Yeah. Could Gretzky play back in the day?
It would be a different game for Wayne back then. We grew up with everybody. You had a winger coming down, you lined him up, and you hit him. And that's where I would have a hard time playing in today's game to adapt, because I see a nice clean check out there, what I would think would be a clean check, and they get
interference
or something. But
right.
But it's a different game. The players back then played and scored a lot of goals with people hanging all over them, hooking them, and doing everything. So, they've made the right changes, lots of them. I just not so sure I agree with all of them, but I've heard talk they want to take fighting out of the game. But you know what? I heard you say earlier, the first game you're there's 3 fights. I don't care if it's even today. There's a fight there. The stands are going crazy. So you can't really take.
Oh, the fans love it.
You can't take that out of the game totally, because it's a way of policing your own sport. And as long as that's there, you'll have certain people not taking liberties when they shouldn't.
There's no doubt. I've heard Gretzky talk about that too. Yeah. The stick work might go down if you can get your steam, blow your steam off by some type of altercation. But yeah, I gotta tell you, I just that did attract me. The whole game did, but you got these personalities like Dave Tiger Williams and what was his first name? Dave Hutchison.
Right.
It was Dave. Was that?
I played against him.
Yeah, he was a pretty tough character, huh?
Seems to me there was more characters back then. I'll never forget when they were playing in Buffalo. And Eddie Shack was playing for Buffalo, and I was.
Did they call him Eddie
Clear
Spinner?
the track.
Clear the track.
But who was the spinner?
That was spinner was Brian Spencer.
Yeah. He went crazy in L.A. once. Oh my gosh.
That'll be a separate show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gump Worsley, who I was playing with, got hurt, and so they're bringing out the stretcher out the end, and before you. Look, the crowd's going crazy, and I took a look back, and there's Shack laying on the stretcher while they're bringing him out to get Gumpy to put on the stretcher.
That was funny.
He's a character, yeah.
Oh, man. They had a lot of characters back then, no doubt about it. Let's see, 74. Yeah, the Broad Street Bullies, that was your time, too.
Yep.
I won't say who, but I knew some hockey players that told me all of a sudden when the team went to Philly, 3 to 4 guys, they had the flu all of a sudden. Does that sound familiar to some people that you knew that they were afraid of?
There were lots of guys there, but one of my finest moments was in Philadelphia, and I remember it like it was yesterday. We're playing the last game of the season. Philadelphia's playing the last game of the season, and whoever wins makes the playoffs, and the other team's out.
Oh my, that's exciting!
So it was late in the third period, and there was a face-off outside the Philadelphia end, and Pront was in net, and the puck come back to me, and they're coming at me, so I just flipped the puck up in the air to put it in, and Pront didn't see it. He comes out to the top, and everybody was hollering and screaming, and Pront comes to the top of the crease like that there, and the puck went behind him and went in, and we won the game 1-0.
Oh, that is incredible.
And they missed the playoffs.
They missed the playoffs. But I tell my kids it was a blazing slap shot that went by.
Oh.
Didn't see it.
But that's smart. That was a very so we're
and Bernie says, if you read, he said, I lost the puck in the lights.
That's too funny. I noticed it seemed like you had some pretty good penalty minutes behind you there. So were you known as sort of a tough guy?
Well, everybody has a role, and I feel blessed to the fact that I feel like I was able to play the game both ways.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
So
yeah.
I was an offensive defenseman and played a lot of power plays and killed penalties and had our moments in with the fisticuffs now and again. But I just felt blessed because I was able to play the game both ways.
Which is really nice. Credit to you. Toughest guy you ever fought?
Well, I'll tell you the best fight I ever saw, and I'll tell you the toughest guy I fought was Big Dave
Schultz
out of Philadelphia.
The Hammer.
We had many run-ins, and the best fight I ever saw was Ted Harris and Orla Kurtenbach. I don't know if those names are familiar to you or not.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, that was a fight to watch.
Wow, I don't think I saw that one, but maybe it's on YouTube. I don't know.
Was Ted was on the North Stars then, and Kurtenbach with Rangers or Canucks? Who was he?
He was with the Canucks, I believe.
Yeah. Speaking of the Canucks, I think they traded Kozak for a guy they called the Hitman, Randy Holt.
Oh, yeah.
You remember Randy? And the first time in Philly, he took on Holmgren.
Barry knows Randy pretty well.
I played with Randy.
You did?
Oh, yeah. I played with Randy in L.A.
That's right, yeah, because he got traded right to L.A.
And so...
Were you there at that bench-clearing brawl in Philly with Randy Holt going against Holmgren, I believe it was?
No, but I was with him when he stepped on the ice in Edmonton, and Big Dave Semenko was there, and Randy gave him a licking because Dave didn't expect him to play, but in the next game out, he went right back at Semenko again and speared him in the stomach to get him to fight. Well, then Randy lost that one, but Randy never lost a fight in his life.
He wasn't that big. I'm thinking about 5'11", right?
Yeah.
But a tough guy. He held the record, I think, 56 penalty minutes in a game in that time in Philly. Remember the Rat? What was his name?
Kenny Linsman.
Yeah, that's what happened. I love those times. I got to tell you, do you miss that?
I'll roll back the window a little bit further watching the game at home. I'm probably, I don't know, I won't give my age, but I was still in high school and watching the Bruins and playing the North Stars. And the Bruins had a very good player, and I called him. He's like Brad Marchand is today. He was Johnny Pie McKenzie, and he was the ultimate needler, instigator, irritator. But he could score 30 goals a year. And I remember vividly the cheap shot Barry gave to Barry behind the net, and you can Google that one on YouTube, and that's a pretty good one because you turn into a different dimension right then going after Johnny McKenzie.
Johnny and I had a few run-ins even the first training camp that I ever played there for whatever reason. That's how he played.
Right.
You have to respect him. And that whole Boston team back then was Sanderson and Eddie Westfall and Sanderson are probably the two best penalty killers I've watched today or then.
Oh wow.
They were awesome, and the team had trouble getting out of their own end. They were able to forecheck you play with. They were two of the best penalty killers I ever saw.
Oh, man. So we're up against a hard break in about a minute or so. But real quickly, we have 1 minute now, but are these fond memories for you?
I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah.
They're very fun.
Those are, what a cool experience. There's no doubt about it. And we are here live at Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. Come on down. We're here till 4. They're open late. This is such a great place. I can't even count. I'll need a calculator with all the TVs they have here. But we are here with Rick, the hockey guru from Boston, who lives in Phoenix, and number 1 overall pick in 66, Barry Gibbs. This is really exciting for me because I just love the old-time hockey. This is just phenomenal. This is NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060, KDUS. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Luis Gonzalez of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Join my friend Brian Krebs every Thursday from 8 to 8:30 p.m. on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060.
And welcome back again. We are live from Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. This is Real Hockey Talk, but come down. This is a great place. We're going to talk a little bit more later on about Twin Peaks with some of the personnel here, but I got to tell you, this is a great, great place. The food is outstanding here. My favorite is the grilled wings and also actually the pot roast. If you guys like pot roast, it is really good here. Their whole menu is really good, and we'll talk a little bit more about that, but we're doing a live broadcast right now at Twin Peaks, 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. Come on down. Great time to watch your favorite sports. There's hockey, there's swimming, there's basketball, there's hockey, and I'm going to say there's more hockey because we love hockey. Anyway, I'm here with Rick, the hockey guy from Boston who lives in Phoenix. We always like to clarify that. And we call him the hockey guru. He really knows his hockey because he brought a very special guest, Barry Gibbs, former hockey player, 14 years in the league?
I did. Seems like a long time ago, though.
Yeah, but a lot. That's a good. That's a credit. I mean, to play 14 years as a professional cannot be easy. You know, all the young kids are coming up, and so a number 1 draft, a number 1 overall pick in '66. That, to me, is really special. I mean, I just think it's special.
And look at the rosters. You went from the original 6 to the expansion 12. If you look at those rosters compared to how many teams there are now and how many rosters, it even puts it in a more perspective, elite level, because you only had 12 teams at the start, and all the rosters were good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that makes it tougher, don't you think?
I think so.
I think so, too. With smaller, less teams, you got to be the top of the top.
Right. But it's a business, and, you had to grow it and bring the Europeans in, and, so.
That's true. And so let's talk, let's get Greg involved in the show, of course. Hockey guru number 1A or 2B or hockey guru.
Either one.
Yes. He's a younger guy, but he loves his hockey. Look, LA Kings hat.
Yeah, of
Can't beat
course.
that.
Yeah.
So let's see. He's taking selfies right now.
Actually,
No.
I have a good question for him. What year did the Los Angeles Kings, now I don't know the answer to this, go to their new, black and gray and white from the original royal blue? And
88.
88.
Yeah.
It was Gretzky's
Gretzky,
first year.
See,
That
that
was
was
when
tough.
they.
That's cemented in my head now.
Yeah, 88. That's when he got
I
traded.
liked the original ones with the big crown on the top, and and you had Rogie Vachon and Dennis DeJordy and Juha Weeding, although Butch Goring. That was a good uniform.
Those were, to me, I grew up in, I went to all the games actually back then. They only had like 6,500 attend. I remember Jack Kent Cook said, we're going to get a franchise out here because there's a lot of Canadians here. But it was the Canadians that hated hockey that moved there. So they did. But when Gretzky came, forget it. He put it on the map.
He did.
Sell out.
It was a business move, no question about it that it worked.
Phenomenal move for LA. National Hockey League. But I didn't really like the gold and purple. It looked like pajamas to me.
I liked them because they were so unique. Even when the Oakland Seals, California Golden Seals, remember them with the white skates with Charlie Finley?
Oh, yeah.
You'll never have that again.
No, that was too funny. But, yeah, some good time. I had my favorite scalper, and, 6,500 fans that you could really get really nice seats. But that dried up when Gretzky came by. But it was so worth it. So, so that's impressive. Greg knew that answer.
It's very good. Very good.
Man, he was only 3 years old then. he started going to hockey like 2 years old.
Great.
Something
Chatter
like that.
away. He would be like the Bob Miller.
Yep.
All through the game. He was famous in our section.
My kids the same way.
Oh, really? Did they play hockey, or did they?
Well, they did. I have 3 boys, and
Wow.
they used to be rink rats. So
How fun.
my youngest, my middle one, Guy, he, when we were in Atlanta, he loved to go to the rink. So it was time for him to go to school, start school.
Oh, wow.
And he was sick, he couldn't go to school. But when Dad was going to practice at 10 o'clock, he was better to go.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
literally had to pick him up, put him in the classroom, go, and then he was okay.
yeah.
But he loved going to the rink. The guys used to tie him up, put him up on the top of the rat and leave.
I don't think people realize, and I suspect it was that way in Canada growing up. I know out here, getting up so early to go to the rink, like 3 in the morning sometimes. Was that like it, you growing up, getting up early like that?
You went to the pond.
Right, the pond, yeah.
Well, that's true, because we
Devotion.
had the ponds and we had the outdoor rinks across the way, and at 30, 40 below, you're still going up, putting your skates on out there and skating out there, and that's what it was. I said you skated, played hockey once it got cold enough to play, and then when the ice melted, you were done. There was no artificial
Wow.
ice.
But you had that passion, obviously.
We were out there all day long.
You
But
got to love that.
That had so much to do with the development of players, though. When you were playing on a surface that was almost like exponential. Bobby Orr always, they called it shimmy. And you learn puck possession, you learn puck control. You were playing keep away. When you're doing that in a 200 by 85 rink right now, it's changed. Pond hockey and river hockey really develop players. And plus, you're out there for 6 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's you didn't stop.
And it probably felt like 1 hour.
Right. Now it's become so regimented, so structured that, kids, Barry and I talked about this morning. Kids don't play multiple sports anymore. They get identified at 10, 11 years old, and they're going to play hockey, soccer, or baseball, and they're doing that 12 months a year, and they're burnt out when they're 28.
Yeah. It makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
My grandkids are going through that, and I think it's so horrible that you can take a young guy and 10, 11 years old and say, do you want to play hockey or do you want to play soccer? And he's good at both. So, no, you have to make a choice. So he had one of them that chose soccer, which is a good soccer player, and the other one plays hockey, but they have to make that decision. They won't let them play both.
So they don't let them play both anymore?
It's almost impossible because it's the chicken and the egg. If you decide to let your child be multi-purposeful sport-wise, they could fall behind the person that is. The counter argument to that is you are refreshed, you're rejuvenated. We can talk forever on the merits of that. It all comes down to parenting, but growing up back east, I saw it every day. You're trying to get that kid a college scholarship.
Gotcha.
If you can get 4 years paid for because they're a good hockey player, you're going to do everything you can for that investment, and that's what's going on.
Wow, that's sort of unfortunate, really, if you think about
It
that,
is.
because how can a little kid choose at that age?
Well, I don't think he can. That's the point.
Yeah.
My mind is he's not developing his body.
Right.
By playing the other sports and different things, you develop different muscles and doing different things.
Sure.
And I'm with Rick. I feel very strongly that I think it's wrong. And you're right. At 10 years old, he might be the best hockey player of them, but down the road at 20, he might be the best baseball player.
Absolutely.
You don't want to take, to my mind anyway.
Oh, that's too bad.
Bobby Orr played shortstop. up in Parry Sound. He loved baseball.
Oh.
As soon as the season ended and the hockey and everything got unfrozen, he's out there playing baseball, and he was good at it. Gordie Howe was a tremendous baseball player.
I heard Wayne Gretzky was pretty decent.
Well, all these natural athletes, they can be, yeah, but you just don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
I think it was when Bobby Orr became an agent, he had Eric Lindros, and dealing with the Lindros family was not easy. And they asked Bobby, "What's the best advice you can give my son?" And they told him, "Let him be a kid.
Gotcha.
Let him be an 18-year-old." I don't know if they necessarily heeded that advice because he was push.
He never looked 18. He looked, when he was 2, he looked 27.
Right.
No, that guy was huge.
He was, and is on the top 100 list. And I don't get that, but that's me.
Yeah. No, I hear you. So you wanted to talk a little bit about
how the game's changed.
Yeah, how it's changed. So
I think Barry can offer a lot of insight. We mentioned earlier. Back when he played, it was really a rotation of 4 defensemen, and then in the last 20, 25 minutes of the game, it was really 3 guys. Okay, now you have the rotating 6, you have short shifts, so we can talk a little bit about that and just how the positions evolved. I mean, I remember as a kid looking at that program, and I knew what wingers or centermen were going to be in front of the net and who the defenseman was that was going to clear that person out. You don't think that way anymore.
No.
You would have a guy camp themselves right in front of Cheevers or Gump Worsley or Maniago, and I knew number 2, when he was in Minnesota, was going to go after Cashman or Hodge and move him out of there. It's not like that anymore. So I'll pass the baton to Barry on that.
Well, the game has definitely changed, and that's one of the things when I'm watching it that don't get me wrong, I enjoy today's game too because they're bigger and faster and they train better than we do and everything that goes on. But to play in my position back then, a winger come down, he was mine. And you hit him, because if you didn't hit him, when you come back in, they had numbers up on the board with how many hits you missed, you didn't hit, and so they kept track of it. Today, it would take some doing because I feel sorry for the defenseman in the position I played, is because now there's a lot of turning and wheeling and trying to poke the puck away, and it's faster and it's good. There's no question about it. But the size of the people that are out there, the players, it's making it. There's something that has to change there as well, and so, and even for the forwards, not even my position. When I looked over and I had somebody to take the center, I left when I knew my winger had that winger, and he was his man. He went after him. He didn't let him go. I mean, he hooked him, held him. So these guys that scored 50 goals and stuff back in the early years, they're pretty talented,
right?
Because they had people hanging all over them and hooking them. And
was it all man-to-man, basically, in your? Yeah. And now that's changed.
Yeah.
It's a system.
Yeah.
Clog the middle, and
Where do you think it's going from here? Will it ever evolve and incorporate some of the old-time stuff ever again, or do you think? People talking about putting in the red line again. You hear stories like that, right? Maybe to slow it up because of injury. I don't know.
Player safety. I don't know if they will. I talked about that. Look at the equipment. Barry said earlier, guys are bigger and stronger. Gump Worsley was 5'7", 5'6". Now you get goalies that look at Mike Smith 6'4". You look at Holtby 6'4".
Ben Bishop.
Then you take their equipment. Now they brought the equipment down. But if you're a forward going through a full head of steam from your blue line to blue line, going 30 miles an hour with that light equipment, you are a gladiator, and someone's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get hurt, and I think if you, I know Orr's been in favor of that. You need to put the red line back in.
Well, I am, but there's the other part that you've just hit on is the equipment.
Right.
I look at the equipment, and the equipment's on there to protect yourself, and I agree with that. But the equipment they've got now, you run into that person with that equipment on, you get hurt just running into them.
Right.
And personally, I'm not involved in hockey all that much anymore, but there's other materials out there that you could have the player's safety, where you got hit, you're not going to get hurt. like there's lots of foams types of things out there. But what's happening now, when you run into that player with that light armor on, you're hurting him just because he's running into equipment.
Right.
That part could change.
It was last year that the St. Louis Blues brought back all the captains, and Barry was the captain when he was on the Blues, and you were brought back, and you were in the locker room and with David Backus and all that. I remember you commented to me about the equipment and the skates.
Wow, the skates are unbelievable. Like, I'm not sure I could even skate on them. That's what I was telling the trainer. I was looking at them and I'm going, like, if you saw the last pair of skates that I've got, which I still have, my grandkids look at them and go, what is that?
Really?
Yeah, you know, like they're all leather and they get wet and soaked. And these skates are, I'm just not sure I could skate on them. They're like a ski boot almost, where they're solid. And,
oh wow!
So, I mean, they could skate on them. I think I'd have to start all over again.
I told Barry, of course he would have adapted. Everybody adapts to the era, but it's changed. I mean, you look at the sticks, how that's changed. Shooting the puck.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, some of these players right now, they're using 10, 12 sticks a game. A game, not a season.
Oh, I didn't even know.
Oh, yeah, it's really crazy.
Wow. So it has evolved.
Not everybody, but it has evolved.
But I think as long as NHL is growing and customer satisfaction's there, they're not going to do a whole lot of change.
No, I don't think so. And, you know, the game is fabulous. And the one thing that is, I can sit back because I'm not involved in hockey or anybody, but if you watch, the NHL's done a great thing in the last 2 years with going 3-on-3 for the All-Star game. It's fun to watch.
That is fun.
It makes them move, and a lot of the All-Star games prior to that were no fun to watch. I quit watching. But this I watch because it makes them skate. You're showing their ability. So which makes me come back, and Rick and I were talking about what could they do to the ice, make the ice bigger. Well, you know what? They're not going to do that because those are the most expensive seats in the house, and you're not going to take 3 or 4 rows away. They're not doing that.
Right.
You know, all the buildings struggle to. So, but the other thing they could do, which they won't do either, is they're showing that when they go to 4-on-4 and the 3-on-3, if you want speed with these big guys, go with 4-on-4. But the reason that's not going to happen is now you got the Players Association, you cut down on all your players, and so that's not going to happen either. But with the size of the players and the speed that they've got, that would, to me, would seem logical. Would be a step where they're not taking seats away. You can show, but being a player rep when I was there, I also understand the other side too.
Sure.
You don't want to give up jobs, and I understand that as well. So.
Wow, so this is a tough one then for them.
It is. You know, we always talk about player safety, and we're talking about it in every sport. You know, there's people in the stands watching if someone gets concussed or not. I've asked Barry how many concussions he's had. He can't tell, but you know he's had them. We all have had them. You know, he may have been not hit with a puck and knocked out unconscious, but he's had them. But how things have changed. Barry told me this story. I said, Barry, I remember watching on TV, and you're playing with a big face shield and a football helmet. You'll love this story.
Well, that's how the game's changed, though. Back in the day, and I was along with a group of starting the Players Association. Back then, there really weren't any rules, so you just played. So I broke my jaw and got operated on, and 2 days later I was in an airplane going to play. And today, which I agree with, you know, if you're injured, you stay out until you're back. Back then, you played injured.
Wow.
With a wired jaw, 2 days after it having operated on, you're back on the ice and playing.
Oh, jeez.
It's funny, Rick said, how would you eat? And I said, well, you know, I had an extra suitcase that I carried my own blender. So when we go to the pregame meal, and I take the whole pregame meal and mix it with milk and put it in the blender and drink it. Susan Maniago come up to me and said, "Gibby."
But you didn't have a shield or anything.
Oh, just a
football
helmet.
Okay, I remember Jeremy Roenick played with a broken jaw, but that had to be painful, right?
No, it wasn't. I didn't find it that painful, but what it is breathing. because
Okay.
I had one small hole in my teeth. I had
Oh,
all
man.
my teeth at that time, so it was eating to keep up enough energy to play. It was a long
Oh,
time to play.
jeez.
So Cesar Maniago said, "Gibby, you got to go in the other room and eat. We can't eat in here. We can't stand looking at that green slush that you're eating."
Man, that's incredible. The old time hockey.
And then you're coming off the ice and you're having a hard time breathing. They're standing there with wire cutters, so if you start choking, they cut your wires off.
How long did you have to have it wired?
Oh, I think it was about a month or maybe 5 weeks.
Man, that's a long time.
But you didn't miss a game.
No.
Didn't miss a game.
Wow. There's
So things have changed.
Yeah.
You know, and players, I mean, even when he was in camp preseason, waiting the birth of one of your sons.
Well, my first child, I
Couldn't
never
go.
signed until he was 6 weeks old.
Oh, wow.
They wouldn't let me leave training camp. So,
Oh, man. That's, well,
there's
Yeah,
been some good
times-
things happen with the Players Association.
Yeah.
And you know what? It is the greatest game in the world. And I watch a lot of hockey on TV
Yeah.
games. And it's
Yeah.
it's a fabulous game.
wow. That's incredible. So, what's some of your greatest memories that you have in your career?
Well, my greatest memory actually has to be the first game I ever played. You know, I go back to as a kid, and you know, you hear about all this stuff, you hear about the players, and my very first game in training camp probably goes back to being the most positive thing that I can remember. Now, during playing, there was things that happened, and it meant a lot to me to make the All-Star team in 73. And the funny part is I have pictures still sitting there when back then they picked the All-Star team, and they picked 3 forwards, 2 defensemen, and a goaltender. And it was 4 Blackhawks and myself. So it was Dennis Hull, Stan Mikita, and Jim Pappin, and Bill White, and Tony Esposito.
Is that
I have
right?
a picture back at the lake there.
And Barry in the green.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, talking I mean, to be in the presence of all those players is, historic.
It's something you don't forget, and then it's just with the family, being to all the places, and all the kids went along, and still today enjoy hockey, and the grandkids are playing hockey. So.
And all the people you've met along the way. And
yeah, it's everybody that you meet is fabulous. You know, it's different today, and it's the way it should be. The players today, they're making enough money that they know what they're going to do afterwards. When I was playing, and when I retired, I had 3 young boys and a wife, and needed to work. So it changes your attitude. So in the summertime, in our era, you worked. You know, you had a job. And so I knew what I was going to do, and a good friend of mine was in Minnesota come down, so I got my life insurance license and sold life insurance in Atlanta for 3 years. Then when I come back up this part of the country, a good friend of mine was a lumber broker. And so I went, met with his owner, Lignum Lumber, and said to him, look, I'm going to make you an offer that I don't know how you can refuse, because they did all their selling over the telephone. I didn't want to do that because I knew that I wanted to sell afterwards, and I had a company. So I said, I'll work for nothing for you for the whole summer, but I want Alberta, and whatever happens, if I sell something you think that you want to pay me something, fine. Otherwise, I want the experience of going cold calling to all the lumber yards in Alberta.
Oh, wow.
And so, and actually, it was a great summer, and I sold a lot of lumber, by the way. And Jimmy still to this day says, they didn't pay you enough money. I said, they didn't have to pay me anything. I asked for it, and the experience I got out of it was tremendous. So it's a different feeling today. The guys are making the money they should be making. And when we're back there, we had to work. So
man, the work ethic back then was like second to none. Right?
Yeah, there's no retirement plan. I mean, that even today, I mean, all these new NHLPA agreements, they haven't done enough to look back and take care of the alumni and the veterans, and that's too bad because there's some. I mean, Barry was a professional and he took care of his family. There's other people that wasn't the case, and they went sideways, and you hate to hear that, but.
Wow. So I do want to say one thing. Rick and I were in Mexico down there. I have a timeshare down there that we go to every year, and we're on the driving range, hitting balls, getting ready to go play, and the radio station from Fort McMurray, Alberta, Canada, was playing loud and clear on the driving range. And the reason that meant so much to us is when I did retire, I moved to Fort McMurray, way up north, after being in California, and started a sales company selling pipe and steel plate and so forth from up there. And there's got a big spot in my heart up there.
Oh, wow.
And to hear that radio station, so just off the off chance that they're listening to your radio station, I want to say hello to everybody at Fort McMurray.
Oh, man. That is incredible. That
If anybody ever gets a chance to go to Toronto and go to the Hockey Hall of Fame, it's outstanding, by the way. It's a walk down memory lane. Barry's captain's jersey from the Atlanta Flames is hanging proudly in the when you come into the building.
That is
they have
so
all
cool.
uniforms. Yeah, and they obviously Atlanta doesn't have a team anymore.
Right.
And that's why it's there. So that's pretty neat.
That is neat.
It's also another pretty good story going back with that because Pat Quinn was the captain and he got hurt, and then when I was captain, but Pat Quinn and I working there. I was selling life insurance, but we were also honorary sheriffs during that time. They swore us in, and we also worked at Aunt Fanny's pub as bartenders and stuff there. It's quite a city, and I got to take my hat off to Cliff Fletcher, who was our GM back then.
Oh yeah.
Knowing they're working, he really helped. He gave me the season ticket holders list of names when I was selling insurance.
Oh, that's great.
It's 13,500 people.
Wow.
That's a good list.
Well, we only have about 30 seconds left, but Barry Gibbs, it's been an honor to have you on the show today. And Rick, always nice having you on. And
enjoyed it.
This is a Real Hockey Talk live from Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix, Arizona. Stay tuned. 2 o'clock, Coach Greg Powers, ASU coach, Division I. We'll be right back.
NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
And welcome back again. We are broadcasting live at Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road. This is really a sensational place, and we really want to thank Barry Gibbs, former NHL hockey player, a good one too, by the way, and Rick, our guru from hockey guru from Boston. But we'll be talking more about Twin Peaks, but it really is a cool place. It's they have 2 locations. I was at their other location last week, 8787 East Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. That is equally as beautiful, and I think it might be a little bit bigger. So this place is a huge place. Look at all the TVs. Now, Greg, you're good at guessing how many TVs. I know you're looking at the beautiful women. Yes, it's true.
Indeed.
I saw that. But how many TVs are there?
48.
48?
48.
Did you get inside information, or is that just
I don't even know, but I bet it's more than
it is
48.
It is a guess, but
we'll
this
out.
will depend if I go to Vegas in the next few days, if I get this right.
Into account they have some out on the patio as well.
They do, indeed.
There's several out on the patio.
I'm going to count those, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. We'll go with
we'll have to get an official count
40.
here soon.
Wow, yeah. Oh, and there's some on the other side of the bar. Yeah, 48. Yeah, I think 48.
I don't know, but I bet it's more than 48. What do you think, Ed?
I'm going to go a little higher because if you look over there against the wall,
there's some there.
There's some smaller ones at the table. So.
We're counting those ones.
I'm counting all of them.
I still go 48. I go 48.
Right. Well, here's someone that may know how many TVs are Twin Peaks, but he may not know because he's been very busy. Because joining us now is the head coach of ASU Men's Hockey Division I team, Greg Powers. Greg, how are you?
I'm doing great. You know what? It would have been nice to get an in-person invite if I'd known you were at Twin Peaks.
Oh, man, we would have had you. I thought you had a...
I'm just kidding. No, I've been to the Glen in Scottsdale. It's a nice place, so I agree with you guys, and it's a great spot, and I appreciate you guys having me on again.
Oh, yeah, it's our pleasure, and I know we had a little technical difficulty a couple of weeks back, and we apologize for that, but it's always an honor to have you on. And, you know, you look back, you have another game tonight honoring the seniors, and you know, with Simon Fraser. And, you know, you look back on the season, and tell me if this sounds right to you. You know, it wasn't really about wins or losses this first year, but building a program at ASU that will be top-notch. Is that a fair statement? Because you really did, I thought, last night you won, so what was it, 12, 19, and 3 on the year?
Yeah, you know, it was this year was about one thing, and it's just building a solid foundation to go and to continue to go into the future with. And we played a very difficult schedule, and we're able to beat some big time programs and gain some positive momentum and going into the future. And we have a very young team, and obviously we're going to celebrate our 4 seniors tonight at our game. But I mean, we just wanted to kind of find our identity moving into the future, and I think it's safe to say that we're on the right track.
Oh, I think so, too. It's very exciting. And you talk a lot about identity. What is the identity of this team? How would you describe it?
Well, it's just a hard-working, you know, tough to play against, well-structured, you know, hard forechecking team that doesn't let off the gas. You know, I mean, we have to compete early in, you know, against the teams that we had on our schedule. If we didn't show up and compete for 60 minutes, there was no way we could win. And so, you know, it sounds cliche, but our guys have figured it out. They're playing physical hockey. They simplified things quite a bit, and it's shown over the last month with, you know, a shootout win at number 10 Ohio State, and then a win on the road against Quinnipiac, who was a national runner-up last year, and then certainly our double overtime win against Western Michigan, who was another top 10 team last week, and all on the road. So this young team has figured out how to go on the road, be successful, what to do, and again, finding your identity is so important early on in our progress.
And that's really impressive to not only compete but beat some of these top-ranked teams. That's just a phenomenal first year from my standpoint. And you know, I looked at the stats, team stats. You know, your goal, you had right there with, you know, most teams, amount of goals, 76 on the year, it appeared. And the goals against, perhaps a little high. Any solutions to that? I mean, is that just growing, getting experience?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of a young team, you know, finding its way through a really difficult schedule early on. And, you know, and that's it. You know, we didn't have any issues putting the puck in the net early on against that schedule that we played. You know, there were some games that just got away, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen, but it's all a learning experience, and we'll grow from it.
Now, Coach Powers, is a team effort, obviously getting better and better, but is there any individuals that sort of stand out in terms of, you know, the long-term improvement that you've really seen throughout the year that maybe extra impressed by, maybe not the right word there, but anyone kind of stand out in particular, or maybe a couple different guys?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost our local, you know, alternate captain, Anthony Croston. He had a great year. You know, he led us in goals. He was tied for points. He's only a sophomore, so we have him for 2 more seasons. Again, he's a local kid. Wanted to come here and help build this program. Was really slated to be, you know, a bottom 6 forward, and got very limited power play time on the season and still led us in points. He just plays the right way and has just improved so much. And then certainly two freshmen that come to mind that are going to have really bright futures. One would be Tyler Bush, who had 20 points over the NCAA season as a freshman, which is really productive for a kid that young. And then certainly our freshman defenseman, Brinson Paschnak, he had a hat trick last night and a 5-point night, and he's a difference maker back there for us, and he's kind of our anchor. And with those three being underclassmen, springing into the future, then you have kids like Dylan Holman, who's our captain for another 2 years, and Louis Rowe, who's another alternate captain for another 2 years. With all the other young kids that we have coming back, and then our great recruiting class coming in, we are really excited about what the future holds for our program.
Now, next year, what does that look like? I can't remember his name. I believe he plays for United States Hockey League, a draft choice from the Coyotes, a defenseman. Will he be coming in?
Yeah, Patrick Kudla, he's a Coyotes draft pick, so he's coming in. He's right now in the top 5 in scoring for defensemen in the USHL, and he's a really special talent, and he'll help solidify the blue line back there. And we have about what will end up probably being about 8 more new kids, and it's a tremendous class. We are really excited about, and they're going to add to what we're doing.
Wow. Of course, it's hard to say now what it might look like next year, but in theory, with some of these additional depth players and good players, you must be real excited to see next year what that's going to bring to you.
We are. We have a schedule that's a little bit more palatable because it was one that we were able to put together over the course of the last 2 years. This year was essentially anybody that would play us, we had to play. We jumped right into it, and unfortunately for us, the majority of the teams that had games to give us were top-ranked teams. But, boy, it really got our guys understanding what it takes to compete and win and be successful at this level. And I don't want to say next year's schedule is easy because it's not, but it's definitely more manageable for a young program. And so we're excited about that. We have more home games than we have. The travel is much more manageable. And we're going to have a much improved team, and that's going to happen every year here. And as it should through recruiting, you always want to get better and build more depth as a new program, and I think we've accomplished that.
Coach, was it difficult to keep the spirit of the your young team up? Obviously facing a uphill battle as far as your schedule. Obviously you're trying to build something. Was it tough keeping them, focused and positive from time to time?
It's always a challenge when you're struggling to win against really good competition. So, what we did was just segment our season and into fourths. We had a first segment, and then we went into our second segment, which was our road trip out east to UNH, BC, and Penn State, and that was where things really started to turn for us. We put those first, dozen or so games behind us, started that segment, went out to New Hampshire, beat them in overtime. The next day, played Boston College, who was ranked third in the country at the time, to a really, really tight game where we were down a goal with about 3 minutes left, and then went to Penn State, who was ranked in the top 5 after that. And in that first game, we're down a goal with under 10 minutes left and had a power play to tie it up. So that I think that second segment got us going, and then we came into our third one through the new year and went over 500. And then in our final segment here, over the course of January and February, we have some marquee wins, some benchmark moments for our program with, again, wins over Ohio State, Quinnipiac, and Western Michigan, all on the road. So, when you segment it and shorten it up and allow your guys just to focus on what's right in front of them, not what's behind them or too far ahead of them, it tends to focus them in more, and that's exactly what it did. And we are so proud of our young team because they have over the course of the year completely bought in. And I think for me a huge credit to our 4 seniors for really laying this foundation and guiding the way for these young guys and showing them how to do things the right way. And so we're going to miss those 4, but we're going to plan on sending them out the right way tonight.
And as far as your expectations, do you think you're looking at the season? overview, would you say you met your expectations, exceeded them, fell short? Well, how would you classify it?
Again, we kept our goals pretty simple to start the year, and that was to do everything we could and as many games that we had to go into the third period with a chance to win hockey games, and we did that quite a bit. So, internally, our staff, we always want to win more, so I don't want to say we certainly met our expectations because we expect very big things out of our guys and our program. I think externally, in the college hockey world, we've exceeded expectations. I don't think many people knew what to expect because of how quickly Arizona State jumped into this level of play, and then obviously the skepticism of playing such a tough schedule out of the gates. I don't think many people thought we could get 2 or 3 wins, let alone double digits. So, I'm proud of where we are. We still have a long way to go, make no mistake about it, but we are absolutely headed in the right direction.
Yeah, there's no question about it. I'm very excited for ASU. I think you've done a magnificent job. This first year is just incredible. 11, 19, and 3 is really good playing at Division I and playing all those top-ranked teams. Phenomenal, the experience you've gained, your players gained. Now, Simon Fraser University, Vancouver, British Columbia, comes in. They had a pretty good win last night, wasn't it, 8-1?
Yeah, it was 8-1. And they're a good hockey team. They've won a lot of games. I think their record going into last night was 15-3, and we knew that we were right now playing at a pace that can play with anybody, and and our guys kept that up last night, and I think we just kind of overwhelmed them a little bit. And I'm sure that a winning program with a lot of pride is going to come out tonight and probably play a lot better, and we're going to have to get ready for it.
Yeah, and it's senior weekend tonight at Oceanside Ice Arena. So you're going to, like you talked about, you're going to honor these 4 seniors that have made such a impact. 2 of them, I believe, are on the ACHA National Championship team in 2014. And so this is an emotional time for you. Drew, Neumeier, forwards, Robbie, see if I can pronounce his name, Balogerin, I believe, Ryan Belanger, and Robert Levin, goaltender, had a good year. So that's got to be emotional for you, seeing these 4 seniors, their last game of their career at ASU.
Yeah, it is. They all 4 have brought something different to the table. Robbie Belargian and Ryan Belanger were both transfers, one from Northeastern, the other from BU, and they came here to help us build this, and they've done that. I think they can look at themselves in the mirror and know that they are going to leave our program better than they found it. And then certainly when you talk about Drew Neumeier and Robert Levin, those are the last 2 kids that I have on this team that we won a national championship together, and that national championship was what changed the course of this program forever. And so, they're both not only were on that team, but they both had major roles in winning that. And Rob was the tournament MVP and just almost had video game like numbers that freshman year, and was so good and helping us win that championship. And Drew Neumeier obviously is just a good, solid, stay-at-home defenseman that gave us great minutes. And what I can say about both of those kids is that they're 2 of the absolute best teammates that I've ever coached. They're just kids that their teammates absolutely adore, would do anything for, and they make the locker room so healthy and so much better. And they are going to be missed very, very much. But I think at the end of the day, that they both know what they've done for our program. They both know that they're absolutely leaving it in a better place than they found it, and our young guys have learned a ton from those 2.
And they'll forever be remembered, there's no doubt about it. And, of course, Robbie drafted by Ottawa, so does he have any plans going to training camp next year or anything?
Yeah, he's playing it by ear here. He had a good year. He was tied for the lead in points, so I know that they're watching closely on what they want to do with him and whether or not they're going to pull the trigger. But Robbie's intent on playing professional hockey somewhere, and he will. He'll play somewhere next year, and it'll probably be in the East Coast League or maybe the American League, and he'll try to work his way up, and we'll be pulling for him and do everything we can do to help him.
your attitude is phenomenal. I just can hear it in your voice that you're so proud of these kids. It sounds like a family atmosphere, and just remarkable. You've really put Phoenix on the map, I believe. And Tempe on the map. This whole area being Division I, and that's got to be really special for you.
It is. Our staff is. We pride ourselves on making sure our players know we care about the team, and they do. And
yeah.
We want to create the family culture and atmosphere, and that's what we're focused on is our culture and our locker room and how these kids handle themselves in the classroom and in the community, because if they do all the right things in those areas and aspects of their life, it will always translate into hockey and on the ice. And that's what I think we're starting to see, is a culture that's coming together and a belief that Arizona State can become a hockey power at the Division I level, and these kids are all really relishing in the opportunity to build that tradition and foundation.
That is so exciting. Well, Coach Greg Powers, thank you so much.
Well, we can't let Coach Powers go yet, because we do have an answer on the amount of TVs.
Oh, what do we got?
Here at Twin Peaks on Camelback. Coach Powers, do you want to have your input, an estimate, if you've been to this location before?
I would guess there's at least 50 TVs there.
Okay, he's going. Ed, what did you say before you may have found out?
I can't remember. I can't.
Oh, okay.
I can't cheat now.
Well,
I've already
I'm going to say in the 70s.
In the 70s.
It looks like 74 to me.
Well, Dave, it is your age. 80.
I'm not 80,
no,
but
80 TVs
oh my
in here.
gosh, this
Amazing,
is huge.
right?
This is such a great place. Yeah, Coach Powers, we definitely want to get you in person, do an hour, 2-hour show just on hockey at this fine establishment, and we'll arrange a time to do that.
Let's do it, guys. I appreciate all your support this season, and you do a great job, and I look forward to coming back on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
ASU head coach, you're welcome. Men's hockey Division I. What a phenomenal job, really. I mean, you can't look at the record and just say, oh, by the record. This guy is done. I mean, look at the segments. I mean, he got 500, then he started beating top 10 teams.
That's key, the improvement throughout the year. It's outstanding.
That's tough to do right out of the gate.
I'm excited. I am just so excited, and they're just going to get better and better.
Yeah.
Tonight, get out there, though. Simon Fraser University, honor the 4 seniors. Have a good time out there at Oceanside Ice Arena that we're very familiar with. We've hung out there many times.
Many times.
Many times. So, let's see. I don't think. Well, should we take it? No, I don't think we should take a quick break because.
Dave, will you describe our waitress for me?
Yeah, the waitress.
I'll get her.
Very beautiful.
Brunette.
Well, that describes all the waitress.
Well, yeah.
I think she's over there.
Brunette, blonde.
Brunette.
Oh, okay.
What's
Here she
brunette?
comes now.
Oh,
She's right there.
yeah. I think
Oh,
that's her.
okay. All right.
Yeah. So
you guys want anything?
Yeah, at 2:30. Well, we're only a few minutes away, but we'll have Coach Kevin Guy, on. Wow, the Arizona Rattlers. They're starting I think next week.
Yeah.
Is that or 2 weeks? And they have Media Day Tuesday. You gonna go?
Man.
You should
Maybe.
go.
Yeah. Are you going?
Yeah.
I'll come down with you.
Yeah, let's go and have some fun. It's always a good time they do there.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, a bit of sad news. Mike Ilitch, the Red Wings owner, passed away this week.
Very sad.
87, but what he did, I mean, for the Red Wings there, hockey town, unbelievable. And, his son, who I believe was CEO, probably is going to take over, most of the day-to-day. But he's also, of course, the Detroit Tigers owner, and very committed owner he was to win. Sort of like maybe how Jerry Buss or George Steinbrenner were in that way. Obviously you really want to win, and you put the money in when you need to, and things like that. And amazing, though, the Red Wings, what he's able to do.
Great
for them.
owner, 4 Stanley Cups under his time.
Yeah.
And, I think 82, 97. No, it was actually 97, 98, 2002, 2008. 25 consecutive season making the playoffs. Third longest streak. I thought it'd be the longest streak, but it's not.
It will end this year, but still.
Sadly, it will. But great owner. A lot of charitable work. I mean, you got to love that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it is a sad thing. Great
Yeah.
franchise. I
Oh,
will
yeah.
say.
The model
Another
franchise.
reminder about our series we're going to put together.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's right. Oh, yeah, we'll definitely be talking to Detroit because that is a model of excellence. And I can't wait. We'll talk at 3 o'clock to Lindsay McCormick, NFL and broadcaster, actress, you name it, she does it, and phenomenal talent about the Super Bowl. I don't know what happened, but we'll talk about that. That was pretty amazing, actually. Red Wings last year, they play at Joe Louis Arena. This is
Yeah,
last
you're
year.
right. Yeah,
Little
it's unbelievable.
Caesars Arena, Little Caesars.
Yeah, and of course
But
it
they're going to
started
have
Little
they're not going to
Caesars.
sell Little Caesars
Yeah.
pizza. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, wow.
Speaking
They'll
of
have-
the arenas,
yeah, they will.
how many have you guys been to in the NHL? Have you made your way to all of them?
No, but that's one of my goals. I've been either combination games or draft, about 6 or 7 maybe. Yeah.
For me,
I think 6
actual games. I mean, if you go by city, like in LA, the Forum when they
Sure.
play their Staples.
Yeah.
But if you just kind of go by team and city, there with the Kings, Colorado, Pepsi Center went
Yeah,
to a
that's
game.
right. Oh, yeah, I forgot about
Anaheim, the
Ducks.
yeah, back when it was the Pond before it changed to Honda Center. Is there any others? I don't know if I've San
I've
Jose.
been,
No.
I've
Yeah,
been to
I
San
think
Jose,
that's
the
it.
Stanley
Yeah.
Cups last
Yeah,
year.
you've been to quite a
And
few.
then the draft,
yeah.
Minnesota, Florida,
Yeah.
Buffalo, Philadelphia.
Yeah, you definitely have
good
more
stuff.
on
I
that.
mean,
yeah.
What makes a good arena, a good hockey venue?
I think it's not only the design, but I think the fans.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the atmosphere, not
Yeah.
just with fans, but the in-game
Tradition.
experience,
Yeah.
what they have, and so when you kind of look across the league, I mean, there's so many good ones. Everyone always talks about, and you know, in the new state-of-the-art ones coming. Obviously, Joe Louis Arena was
Right.
you know, one of the obviously best, you know, being there with the Red Wings. But the new arena coming, the state-of-the-art stuff that they have, maybe there's not that
Vegas.
tradition per se in the sense of, you know, like with the Forum, you know, and that's still around for concerts and stuff and award shows. But, you know, you think the old, you know, 80s Lakers teams and the Gretzky teams of the Kings. And so at Joe Louis Arena, you know, you look at Yzerman and all that stuff from way before as well. And so, you know, new traditions start in new arenas. And
I beat you guys to the punch. I saw the T-Mobile out
Oh,
there
you've been in Vegas there.
Yeah, when I went out
Oh,
to
you went?
Nice.
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
I went to see
Cool stuff,
UNC
right?
in Kentucky. That is a beautiful arena.
I'm excited
Love
about that. Some
Oh,
more Vegas
yeah.
trips next year,
We
right?
keep talking about when we're going to do it, Dave.
Yeah,
I know.
know.
I'm thinking open office
let's
there
take
just so
your
I could
credit
be by the new team.
Yeah,
I
there you
might,
go.
actually. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
We
Can
could
I-
go up there.
Can I just give
You
it
should buy a
little corner?
condo and give us keys,
Yeah.
and we could
Say,
switch
yeah.
off weekends. We'll share
Whoa.
custody of the condo, and it'll be fun.
But you can't have girls there. Okay, you can. All right, I'm just teasing. Wow, so we are live at Twin Peaks. And, of course, this is at 2135 East Camelback, 2135 East Camelback. Come on down, have some fun. We're here till 4. We got a lot of great guests still here. This is a great place, and we will be back with Coach Kevin Guy, Arizona Rattlers. And we'll talk to someone at Twin Peaks also. All the good stuff they have. We'll be.
Did you miss any of the Sports Zone? Then head to NBCSports1060.com/podcasts for the full replays of the Sports Zone.
And welcome back again to Real Hockey Talk, Breakthrough Sports, live on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS. We are live from Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. Then they have, what'd you say, 80 TVs in here? That's
80.
That's
Yes.
incredible. 80 TVs, not my age, but it is
double the
TV.
number.
It is close.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yes.
So I love it here.
TVs.
And we'll talk more about Great Place, Twin Peaks. Come on down, say hi. We got Barry Gibbs still here, former number 1 draft choice, NHL, played 14 years in the league.
Another hour and a half.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. And joining us right now is general manager, head coach for the Arizona Rattlers, Coach Kevin Guy. Kevin, how are you?
Doing great, Dave. How you doing?
Oh, I'm great, and I'm excited for you and all the fans here in Arizona because it's coming up. We got Ed Smith here and Greg here, too.
Hey, what's up, Ed? How you doing?
Good.
So, first of all, you got Media Day coming up on, I believe it's Tuesday, is it 1 to 2, I believe, and I think that's this Tuesday.
I believe so, David. Your guess is as good as mine. I just go where I'm told.
Yeah. Well, I'll be there. I think Ed's coming.
It's Tuesday. I believe it's from 1 to 2 down at the arena. So,
yeah.
You know, So, I think.
Yeah, we're going to be there.
You know, we're out at the Oxygen Southern Dunes Golf Course right now having season ticket holder barbecue right now, and fans are coming out picking up their season tickets, and with the players and coaches, you know, they're getting to visit with the players, coaches, and cheerleaders. So having a great time out here right now. Beautiful day. So really enjoy the facilities here. You know, Oxygen's the Oxygen Indian Communities are our biggest partner, and they do an outstanding job for us. It's where we had training camp, and the facilities are just outstanding. And, you know, it gives us a chance to be in training camp for 2 weeks out here and gives us a chance to grow as a team, and our guys get to know each other and develop that chemistry we need to try to make that push.
Oh, yeah. You had me at cheerleaders, by the way. But anyway, so I'm excited because it's going to be the first year you're in the Indoor Football League. Tell us about this team. You pretty much probably have it pretty much set. How many of the Rattlers came back? I know Nick Davila is a coach, a quarterback coach. Our Keith Brown is back. But tell us a little bit who came back, but how many new players you have, and what is it like right now, the chemistry?
Well, a lot of new players, but the chemistry is great. We got 4 or 5 guys back from the old Rattler team last year. Again, we were going to have some guys retire anyway. We had a majority of the team was retiring when the season was over.
Right.
And making this transition, we were going to have to turn the roster over anyway. So nothing new for us. But we got a great group of guys. And I've been very, very pleased with, you know, the type of guys we brought in, not only how they play on the field, but how they carry themselves off the field. And they've had a great day out here with our fans. And you know, just great character guys. And you know, work hard. You know, these guys have been working hard in training camp and doing everything we ask. And I'm excited about not only going into the new league, but the talent level that we got on our team. There's no doubt in my mind this team is going to play up to the standards of all the other Rattler teams that we've had in the past.
Coach, now that you're past the, you know, off season, you're into the actual, you know, on the field portion of preparation. Have you had to make any adjustments? Has anything, you know, caused you to, you know, revamp your approach, or have you had any surprises?
You know, we still have the same culture and environment that we always had. And, you know, I feel like we got a group of guys that's bought into our culture and our environment of how we do things. And we're going to be a physical football team. We're going to be a fast football team. But in terms of schemes, you know, we did a lot of study on film in the off season, and so there was just very little small things that we were making, you know, some adjustments to. But you know, as we got in there and got, you know, going with live reps, but you know, some things, you know how it is. Some things look better on a grease board than they do actually on the field. You know, so you know, you just kind of make your adjustments and keep moving. But you know, we've got a lot of you know, a lot of different things that we're doing in our offense, and you know, I think it's gonna put some defenses on their heels, and you know, you're gonna see, you know, some tempo offense out of us, and you know, with 2 guys being in motion now, I mean, you can really speed up the clock of the defense, and so that's gonna be a little interesting too. So, you know, I'm excited about it. I mean, I feel like I'm getting to coach those outdoor concepts again. So, you know, I've had fun with it in training camp, and you know, but at the end of the day, it still comes down to blocking and tackling and techniques and fundamentals, right? So, I mean, football's football, and if you don't have that, then you're not going very far. And and develop it in our team chemistry. And I really feel good about this team. And, I don't know how we're going to start, but I have a really good feeling how we're going to finish.
Do you have a feeling for which side of the ball is maybe, more, ahead of the other, offense versus defense?
Well, I always feel, Ed, that, defenses are always a little ahead in training camp, and they seem to be, in training camp. And then when you get under the lights and, with the referees on the field and all that stuff, all of a sudden those defensive players can't get away with some of the things they were getting away with in practice. So you've been there, you know what I'm talking about. So, yep. I think it's going to open up. Offensively for us. I mean, I thought we had a scrimmage this past Wednesday and had an 80 play scrimmage. Really, actually had about 120 play scrimmage if you throw in all the special teams plays. And he really gave us some really good quality film to teach off of, and try to bring the team along. But we've made our final cuts, and today was the last day of training camp, and so Monday starts our preparation for game week. We actually used the last 2 days of training camp to start getting ready for Sioux Falls. So it's kind of like giving us, 2 weeks to prepare for, a game. And after we got all the install stuff in, but I feel good about it. I feel really good about it, and it's going to be a process, and there's going to be some things that we're going to learn on the way, not only about the game, but about our players. And I just think that's part of the process, and we'll adjust. I got a really good veteran coaching staff, and they've done a great job, and I feel really good about where we're at as an organization.
So Kevin, I guess it's Friday you start in Sioux Falls against the defending champion. You might as well just jump in right away and test out the new league and test out the new team.
I'm excited about it because they've won the championship 6 years in a row, and at the end of the day, if we're going to find out where we're at, why not do it first game? Let's see where we're at and see where we got to get to, right? So, they went 15-1 last year, and I told the players, we went 15. They went 15-1 last year, and we're going to play them only one time this year, and it's the first game of the season. And, it might decide week one might decide where the championship game is going to be held. So, we need to come out the gate ready to play, and have our physically, and mental, toughness. We got to be ready to go. And I feel like that, I've heard that they've sold out the arena up in Sioux Falls for that first game. So, I'm excited about playing in front of their fan base. I think it's going to be a great test for our young team. Now, I say we're young, but we're pretty dynamic. So we'll see how the young guns develop as the season goes on.
Now, does this add any pressure or any other type of emotional response, knowing this game's being hyped up in a way? The champions, pretty much the two great indoor football league, and then the Arizona Rattlers coming out of the AFL, and they're really hyping this game up, and that's, I'm sure, why it's sold out as well.
Sure.
Does that do anything to you
personally? We're part of the indoor football league now, so we're part of their family. But at the end of the day, there's no doubt in my mind there were some agendas with the scheduling, and when you look at it, I'm sure that trying to match this up in week one on the road in that environment. I'm sure that there's some guys that've been around the league that want to put a feather in their hat on that deal, and that's fine. You got to embrace pressure, okay? I love it, and at the end of the day, we're going to find out where we're at mentally and physically when we go in and play in that first game, and it's just, again, it's part of the process, and I want to know who we are coming out of that first game and what we. I'm glad we're playing on week one because I want to know what level we got to get to if we're not already there. Yeah,
that makes sense. And how about our old friend Nick Davila? Is he making the transition pretty cool from quarterback to quarterback coach?
Yes, he's doing an outstanding job working with the quarterbacks, and I've been pretty. Nick's been my quarterback for 6-7 years. So when the play caller and your head coach and play caller and your quarterback spend that much time together, we already think alike, So, we have the same thoughts, and that's why it's been an easy transition, and so, He already understands how we do things, our culture, our environment here. So he's a great fit. Sometimes when you bring those coaches in from other teams, just like when you bring other players in from other teams, you have to. You're having to, break habits and all that. Well, Nick already knows how we like to do things, and he's doing an outstanding job, and he's a good young coach, and it's like anything else. It's about getting reps, and as he gets reps, and he's going to have some experiences, and and I tell him they're all good experiences, whether he thinks they're bad or good. They're all good because they're great learning experiences, and he gets to take those experiences and learn from it and grow as a coach.
Yeah, I got to tell you, Kevin, you are a real inspiration. You always have such a great, great attitude, and that translates to being such a great coach. I mean, the psychology of it, the technical aspects of it. I think we're really blessed here in Phoenix to have you as Arizona Rattlers coach, and I'll see you Tuesday. I think Ed's going with me, and we'll talk to you Tuesday at Media Day, and we're excited for the first game.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the words, and yes, I mean, I'm excited about this season and excited to, kind of get back in the flow of things. Media Day is going to be a great touch there at downtown, and it was awesome getting to see Rattler Nation today out here at our season ticket barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
So it's now I'm leaving here, and I'm going to drop my stuff off at my house, and I'm headed down to the field house because we just got a whole new weight room put in, right weight equipment.
Oh, wow.
Came in and did an outstanding job for us, and so I'm going down to see the new look. So hey, if you're going to be a good football team, you got to push some weight. We've got these guys set up with some great facilities down in Mesa.
Well, that is phenomenal. And again, thank you so much for calling in. Always a pleasure. It's been like 5-6 years now we've had you call in, and we always enjoy it. So we'll see you Tuesday.
You got it, guys. Good hearing from you. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Coach Kevin Guy, Arizona Rattlers. I think, this is a perfect opportunity. He's, I believe, grown as a coach, too. When we started interviewing him 5-6 years ago, I could tell just in his language, every experience, good or bad, is a good experience. I mean, things like that, those are phenomenal psychological ways of keeping up and positive.
Well, you know what I can hear in his voice? I hear excitement.
I do, too,
and it's funny because
yeah.
we've been talking to him for a few years now.
Yep.
And I think he mentioned in a previous interview, maybe a few months ago, how he had gotten to a point where he was like the hamster on the wheel.
He needed a new challenge.
He needed a new challenge. And you can tell just in listening to him right now that he is fired up for this new start. Some of the new challenges he's had in terms of, going into a brand new league, new offense, different, things he's going to have to deal with. So I'm actually very excited for him and excited to see what he brings to the table out here with this new rendition of the Arizona Rattlers.
Starting off with the 6-time in a row champion in the indoor football league. I don't know. That sounds pretty interesting to me. I think it'll be a great game.
And the other thing is, that the incumbent league, the league he's going into, they want to make a statement right out of the box, too. They can't have this team from the outside coming in and beating up on their champion
That'd
right away.
That'd be tough.
So
that could ruin their mental facilities for life.
On the flip side, if Arizona comes in there and they,
more pressure on Sioux Falls then.
I would say more pressure on Sioux Falls.
I would agree because they are the champs, and Arizona, brand new type of game, pretty much except for 4 or 5 players, new team.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. Why don't we take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have Lindsay McCormick, one of our favorites, actually. She could actually work here. She's so beautiful. Have you seen her?
I have seen her.
Wow. So
yes.
We'll talk Super Bowl action, and she was there in Houston. She grew up there, I believe. So phenomenal talent. Lindsay McCormick. We got Darren Carter, I think, coming in at 3:30. We have A.J. Richards calling in at 3. Let's see, when is 3:15, that's right. Okay, so we will be back after this break, and everyone know that we are at Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix, Arizona. and we're about to have some of this good food here and watch 80 TVs at the same time. Definitely come on down. We'll be right back.
For the most informative sports talk in the Valley, tune in to the Sports Zone with Bob Kemp. Weekdays from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. only on NBC Sports Radio AM 1060.
And welcome back again. You're listening to Real Hockey Talk live on NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060, KDUS, and we are live at Twin Peaks. Phenomenal place here at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix, Arizona. They have 2 locations. I would highly recommend coming down here and visiting us. We're here till 4, 2135 Camelback Road. And, of course, joining us right now is someone, probably Model of the Month from Twin Peaks. But I forgot your name. What's your name?
I'm Katie.
Oh, Katie. Yeah. It's so nice having you here. This is Ed Smith.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to
You
meet
met
you.
Greg,
Well,
and
well.
this is truly one of our favorite places. This is how's it here to work, by the way? Do you like it?
I mean, it's really fun. All the girls are really nice. The managers are cool. It's a cool environment. Everyone coming in here is always having a good time. There's a bachelor party here right now.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Already doing tequila shots.
Oh, already? Wow, it's going to be a long night. No doubt about it.
Are they outside, or is there like a back room, or?
Oh, they were right there.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know where they migrated to.
Yeah.
So, you got 2 locations, 8787 East Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard. I've been there. That's a good one.
Yes.
And, of course, here's the one I go to most of the time, 2135 East Camelback Road, Town and Country Shopping Center. But all weekend, what I understand, through Tuesday, it's the Sweetheart Week dress-up.
Yes, we're going to be wearing our lingerie until Valentine's Day. So.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and during the week we have
your
happy
lingerie?
hour. Yeah.
Am I allowed to look? I don't know where to look.
No.
I can't look? Okay, I'm
You
looking.
can look, but you can't touch.
Okay, Ed, you look, and we'll both look.
You look stressed right now.
I am. No, I'm looking. You look for once. All right, he's looking.
Sorry, I'll let you sneak a peek. It's
All right.
okay.
Oh, very
I'll
nice.
forgive you.
Okay. I bet
He
from
just
your...
made his week by just sitting his
Yeah,
clothes
there you
on.
go.
Wow. So you're going to... I thought there was a different look today. So it's all lingerie.
Yes, all until Valentine's Day. I think that's Tuesday.
I hope you're
Yeah,
open
Tuesday,
24/7 so I could stay here for 3 days.
24/7. I guess
I'm
you're going to have
kidding.
to be here all week.
I know. No, I know. You're open to what, till like 11? Or...
Tonight we're open till 1. We do have
1.
a no-cover UFC fight.
You do?
Yeah.
Holly
so
Holm is
Holly
fighting.
Holm, she went up a weight class, so
Yeah.
this is her first fight in the new weight class, so it should be really busy.
Oh, I may just stay here and watch that.
You should.
Oh, I love
You
that
should-
stuff. Wow.
Sure.
So, yeah, that's right. UFC tonight, and you said no cover?
No cover charge on
That,
UFC.
that's phenomenal.
Ever.
A lot of places have, X amount of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
And so this makes it even more unique. I know it costs money to put a fight on like this for all the sports bars for
Yeah,
yourself.
we never charge cover on UFC fights though, so this is definitely the UFC hotspot.
Wow, I think I'm going to stay here and be here. So happy hour Monday through Friday, 3 to 6, and then 10 to close.
Yeah, $2 off man-sized beers, well drinks, and appetizers.
Yeah, and that's
Man-sized beers?
20, yeah,
Man-sized?
22 ounce.
Oh, okay.
For you
29
there, Ed.
degree ice
See,
cold
I'm not a beer drinker, so I didn't know. Yeah, man,
Wow.
that's a big
Yeah.
size.
Have
That
you
is
not had a
big.
beer here?
If I have, it's been a very long time.
We got to get you a beer.
They're 29 degrees, so they're ice cold beer.
Oh.
There was
and,
a song.
hot girls, you know.
See, that's
Oh,
what
Yeah,
we're-
there you
there
go.
was a song once.
There's only
I
one way
said
to
we
have
got to
a-
get you a beer, but we got to get you a woman. There was a song about that.
Hey, you came to the right place.
Yeah, there's
There's only
lingerie.
one way
I'm
to have a
peeking
beer.
again. I feel myself peeking all the time.
Yeah, man.
But that was 10 to close at Scottsdale. It's 4 p.m. To 6 and 10 to close at Camelback.
Yes.
So it's a little different the early happy
It is
hour.
a little bit different, yeah.
But $2 off all teasers,
Yeah.
all weld cocktails, and all man-sized drafts. What's $2 off on teasers? Don't tell me it's women.
Oh my, you wish. It's
I have the
actually-
$2. I'll pay.
You have $2.
No.
It's appetizers.
Oh, okay. That's a teaser. I didn't know. I'm excited right now. But anyway, so are you a sports fan?
Oh yeah, of course.
Really? What's your? Oh, you're.
I like
have
the
that logo.
Cardinals.
You
They
like
weren't
the
doing so good this year. Same with
Yeah.
ASU football. ASU kind of let me down, but
Right.
Yeah, that's
next
Yeah.
season. We're going to the Super Bowl next season and the Fiesta Bowl or whichever one college goes.
Wow. Are you a betting?
Confident
are,
there.
Are you a betting woman?
Am I a betting woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just bet on the Super Bowl though, and I bet Falcons, so that was not good.
That
yeah.
didn't
No.
work.
Whoops.
Well, look over on Ed's hand right there, and what do you see?
He has a ring that he's going to give me, I think.
That's one of the best things
I think
I've
that's
ever
for
heard.
me,
Proposing
right?
right away.
That's a Super Bowl ring.
Is it for me?
Yes, of
No,
course.
but Ed played in the Super Bowl.
Oh, really? What team?
The Falcons.
Oh, see? I got your back.
Well, it was a long time. Well,
But
it
still.
was a while
I
back.
Now
still-
you're making
I still
him
bet for
nervous.
them.
But
Yeah, they dropped the ball
Wow.
on that one.
Sad.
Yeah, very sad.
so you're behind the bar mostly.
I am, yes,
And
always.
what, have you seen some crazy stuff, fun stuff? What's the funnest thing you've ever seen? They say bartenders are like psychologists. Have you given good advice?
Oh, yeah, of course I have.
Oh, okay.
The most fun thing I've ever seen, I don't know. We have a lot of crazy stuff happening, honestly, every day here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fun.
It's a different environment. Yeah, it's a lot of fun here, especially during lingerie week.
Now, how
Yeah,
does
I
it
bet.
feel to wear lingerie right now?
I don't really notice it.
You don't?
Honestly, no.
People aren't peeking.
Yeah, they're definitely peeking, but I've learned to not pay attention to it.
Here's the thing. When
Yes.
you're as pretty as this young lady is,
That's true.
you have to, her confidence.
Yeah.
You could be wearing a towel.
You could be wearing
Yeah.
nothing and we wouldn't
Yeah.
Towel
know.
would be
Right.
nice.
No, I'm kidding.
Now, if you put you in her lingerie,
Oh, that
That's
would be
something different.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, we would.
Wow,
we would
but you are very beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you
And
so
you have a
much.
great personality, and
Yes.
and typically that's what you find. The service here is phenomenal. Every time I've been here, this is really good service. It's so friendly and so accommodating.
They definitely look for girls that have a really good personality.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not just a pretty face. Like, they want us to be the whole package.
That's right.
So-
And you are the whole package.
Thanks.
Ed, give her the ring. And give her the second one from me. So, Greg wants in on this too.
Yeah. Do you have another one? Ed?
Yeah.
no, this is the only one.
It's just for me, sorry.
Have you been on the radio? You're doing great. By
Well,
the
no,
way.
I want it so then I could give it to you. See, then I would,
I see.
We got
Yeah.
opening bid starting at a Super Bowl ring. No one's going to produce
I
one
like
here.
how you guys are
Although we got
auctioning
Barry
my
Gibbs,
ring.
so they're. So this is really cool. And so tonight, I bet you're expecting a packed house. The fights really draw well.
Yeah, it starts getting busy at like 4 or 5 o'clock on fight nights, and then it just kind of goes until 1 in the morning.
So where
Yeah.
should I sit? What's the best place to sit?
At the bar with me.
Oh,
What do
now
you
we're
mean?
talking.
Come on, why would you even ask that?
I don't even
Unbelievable.
need the ring right now.
There's TVs everywhere.
Yeah.
You can pretty much sit wherever, and you'll have a great view. But at the
The-
bar with me is the best view. You
It
know?
is.
Well, there's
Dave's not going to be watching the TV.
I
so
know.
that's why you
What's your
got to be at the
specialty?
bar.
What's my
Yeah,
specialty
what do
drink?
you make that's better than anybody else's?
Green tea shots. They're
Green
very
tea?
Oh,
good.
wow.
So a
Never
healthy
heard of
drink there, right?
Sure. It's got
Yeah.
a little whiskey in it, so
Yeah.
it's good for the throat.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that is very cool.
I might have to try one of those before we leave.
Okay, you
Yeah,
guys are
maybe you should
Yeah.
stay and we'll both sit at the bar. She has a friend.
Is he not invited?
I know.
What?
Come
Oh,
on
yeah,
now.
Greg. Oh, sorry, I
Oh,
forgot.
you're
Wow.
forgetting about Greg. He
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
get a ring. He doesn't
That's
get a
right.
seat at the
Isn't he
bar.
adorable?
Oh,
Look,
that's
L.A.
so
King's head.
sad.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you're right.
Oh,
Well, we really we love this place. We'll
Yeah.
be here doing some monthly stuff, and it's such a great place. Owners are great. I know both of them. The management's great, and you've been very delightful.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate you, and you did a great job. We'll have to have you on again.
Thank you. I've done some radio for this restaurant. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if it was for
Well,
you.
I have a face for radio, but you have a face for anything.
yes,
Thank
absolutely.
you.
Yeah, you really are pretty.
Thank you.
And intelligent, and just you're the complete package. All right,
Yeah.
guys.
Dave's
you're
none of
all-
those. So
Thank you
Yeah.
guys. Thanks for having me.
Thank you
Thanks,
very
Katie.
much, and we'll
Yeah.
be right back after this word. We're at live from Twin Peaks, 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. Stay tuned for Lindsay McCormick. Be right back.
NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix. And welcome back again. You're listening to Breakthrough Sports live at the Twin
Peaks Sports Bar located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. Thank you to Katie, who was very delightful, works there. They have this really cool thing that I didn't know about, but all weekend through this Tuesday, Sweetheart Week dress up. All the beautiful ladies there that work there are in lingerie.
I saw that when I went around to the other side of the bar a few minutes ago, and that I was trying to figure out why everybody was in lingerie, and I saw the sign, and I thought, oh, okay, this does look like non-traditional attire here, but they look absolutely fantastic.
They really do.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I think that's very clever. They have the big UFC fight tonight. No cover, evidently.
This place is going to be packed.
Oh, I think I'm gonna stay. Really?
I think it's going to be a great.
I like UFC.
Tonight.
I just have to claim a spot somewhere. But anywhere here is good. They have 80 TVs.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a very cool deal. We're waiting for Lindsay McCormick, but we could, I guess, start by talking about that Super Bowl where I picked Atlanta, you picked New England, your heart was with Atlanta. I thought I had a blowout going, but it did not happen.
I almost gave up on the game, meaning the way Atlanta came out the box, it looked like they had everything that the Patriots were trying to do. They had an answer for. They were faster, more physical. Game plan looked like it was, well constructed, and in the second half the wheels just fell off. But I almost gave up, because I was happy for Atlanta, but I wanted to see a competitive game, and I got to a point where I actually turned it off my main TV and put it on the secondary TV and had it on mute because I was watching something else.
Oh,
but I kept watching as it progressed, and as New England climbed further back into the game, I finally switched it back. But that game had the potential to be one of those. Remember a couple years ago when Seattle whooped up on Denver? The game was not even a competitive game. It was over before it even started. And I thought this one had the potential to be that, but it turned out to be one of the best Super Bowls I've ever
Wasn't that an amazing comeback?
Oh.
Let me ask you this, because to me, the last time New England was in, I don't think they deserved to win. Well, I guess if you win, you deserve to win. But really, I think Seattle should have won.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people think that. This game, I don't think they should have won either. Wasn't there something in Atlanta? Did it just take them by surprise? Or couldn't they have done something to break the momentum of New England coming back and storming back and overwhelming them?
Well, the big question is, did New England win the game or did Atlanta lose the game? That's the biggest question.
You're right. That's a way to look at it, right?
Quite honestly, it's a mix of both. And coming from the angle that you're kind of going, Atlanta could have done so many things differently to secure that victory, meaning they only ran the ball 5 times in the second half. Now, if you're up by 20, at one point it was 28.
5 times? That's
5
it?
times. 5 times.
Now, is that the coach's deal?
Well, they'll try to, I guess, deflect some of the blame by saying, well, that's how we've played all year. Meaning they maybe tended to be more aggressive. In this situation, at some point, somebody had to see, look, we're up 28-3, and then all of a sudden the comeback started. We have to gain control of this game again by ball control or, just keeping the ball out of their hands. If you got to play keep away, there's nothing, soft about that. Atlanta could have ran the clock out, still won the game, even if it was by 1.3, whatever it is, you're still the Super Bowl champions. I'm not sure exactly what happened with their whole mentality, and it's like they were stunned. And I'll go back to this, Dave. We talked, and one of the questions about that I kind of fielded all through the week leading up to the Super Bowl was about the experience of being in the big game. And
you did say that, actually.
And that goes for not just the players, but the coaching staffs as well. And the magnitude of this game, what happens is, as a player, you get out there and the rear end gets a little tighter. You maybe do things that you're wouldn't normally do because you're either trying to do too much or the moment might be too big for you. Same thing happens sometimes with those coaching staffs. They're up there in those booths or they're down on the sideline, whoever's making the calls, and you don't realize the speed of how how everything's happening and transpiring. Because I'm sure at some point there was like mass chaos going on with the Atlanta coaching staff up there in that booth. They were just, because it just hit them so hard and so fast. And
it did, didn't it?
Before you think about it, Dave, with 3 minutes to go in the game, or 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, they were up by 25 points.
That's amazing. I mean,
unbelievable.
As the game went, I was excited to see a game developed again.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't care who won. But from picking Atlanta, I go, they could have, something they probably could have done.
Run the ball.
Yeah.
Then you think about the crazy mistake at the end where they get a first down on the 22-yard line with about 4 minutes to go, whatever it was, and instead of running the ball 3 times, setting up for a field goal, making an 11-point game, there's no way Brady and those guys came back from that. 11 points, they would have to score, get a 2-point conversion, and get an onside kick, and tie the game up with a field goal, all within probably after, if you force them to use their timeouts, you're looking at 2 minutes and some change. They would have had to do all of that. So right there, your biggest mistake, you drop back, you've got penalties, you've got, a sack, all that transpired in that last drive where they basically had to end up punting, giving Brady and the Patriots the ball back. And then, and I guarantee there were conversations going on, and before somebody could make the right decision, a decision was made because the clock was winding down. And if in normal situations, everybody's prepared, everybody's ready to go. But like I said, the magnitude of that game and what it means can grip you like you can't imagine unless you've been in one of those stressful situations. And like I said, that we talked about it last week before the game. That's why I gave the edge to Brady and Belichick and the Patriots, because they had been there before.
That's right. It's it was astonishing, though. I mean, but you picked it right on the button, although you were probably disappointed.
Very disappointed.
In a way.
My phone was blowing up like you could not imagine at the start of the game all the way through, because, all my Atlanta, friends and people still back there and people associated with the Falcons, everybody was just texting and calling and, leaving me messages on Facebook. And then when you got closer to when the disaster started to happen in the second half, my phone went dead silent because everybody was in shock.
It was shocking. And
I actually texted one of my teammates, my good buddy Calvin Collins. We went all the way to the Super Bowl together ourselves. I texted him when it was all over and done with. I said to him, I would rather get run out of the gym the way we did than lose one like that one, because that one is going to stick with those guys forever.
Yeah, because they know they could have.
They were.
won.
I guarantee you, people were already planning on, getting there early for the victory parade. They were getting. I mean, there was a lot of plans that had to be put on hold in a matter of a very short time. But and think about it, the guys on the team were even. I was on the losing end of mine, but I guarantee you there were a lot of guys that were on the Atlanta sideline thinking, "Oh my God, we're going to win the Super Bowl. We're going to the White House. We're doing this. We're doing."
Right.
And this is probably what like I said, 15 minutes to go, and to have your hopes and dreams dashed like that.
So mentally, maybe they just let it. They weren't there. Is that part of the problem?
I think what happened was the snowball started off rolling down the hill, and it just from the other side of the field, New England just started to pick up steam, and they there was nothing that they could do to stop that turn.
Wow.
And that's a helpless feeling too. Being out there and you're watching this just being ripped from your hands.
Just amazing. But look at Tom Brady. I mean, over 400 yards. Over 450 maybe?
460 or something like that. Something crazy.
You got to say, he did outplay the young guy, right?
He should have never been in that position. The Falcons should have never let him get into that position. And once again, we also talked about who was going to be the team to make the adjustments. Because Atlanta came out and they were firing on all cylinders, and we obviously saw what happened. They went in at halftime, and Belichick and his staff, they kept their cool. They knew some of the changes they had to make. They made them.
Right.
The Falcons, I guess they thought what's good, what worked in the first half, we're going to stay with that. They never made the adjustments to counteract what New England did to them on the other side. So, that cost them in the end dearly.
Pretty incredible, really, if you think about it. And I mean, it was it was boring and then exciting.
It was, like I said, barring, the obvious fact that, I was rooting for the Falcons. I just, to watch them, I feel sorry for a lot of the players, to be honest with you, because if you never make it back and that's your only experience, I hurt from mine, and, we didn't lose in that fashion. For a lot of those guys, this is going to be the biggest disappointment in their professional careers. And, once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Wow, so pretty certainly disappointing, but for Atlanta, certainly phenomenal for the Patriots. And we'll see. Why don't we take a quick break right now? When we come back, we got another special guest, AJ Richards, CEO of Rush Club. You're going to love this, Ed, what they do. This is a phenomenal organization, and we'll have him, AJ Richards, talk about it. But we'll take a quick break right now, and when we come back, we'll talk to AJ Richards, and then coming up is Darren Carter at 3:30. We got a lot still to go at this beautiful place called Twin Peaks, and it's, of course, we're at 2135 East Camelback Road. So definitely stay tuned for more action after this break. At Twin Peaks, they have the UFC fight tonight, no cover. Definitely want to show up here. You going to stay here?
I might. I've got a couple things I might have to do, but who knows? I might pop back in because this is...
Yeah, it's a fun place. And Holly Holm, I think,
she beat
Ronda
Rousey.
Yeah.
Two fights ago.
That should be a lot of fun. So anyway, this is NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060, Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. Come on down. We're here till 4. They're open till 1. UFC fight tonight. We'll be right back.
Bookmark us. Go to NBCSports1060.com to get the latest on your favorite shows and teams. Don't forget to bookmark our page to your web browser, NBCSports1060.com.
And welcome back again. We are live from Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. This is Breakthrough Sports. I'm Dave Isaac alongside Greg and Ed Smith, former Atlanta Falcon, who is unhappy about the Super Bowl, but he did pick New England. He has his Super Bowl ring on. Come on by. Already there's a taker. There's a young lady that wants your ring. But we're excited right now to have join us AJ Richards, CEO of Rush Club. AJ, how are you?
I'm great, guys. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I'm Dave, and we got Ed here and Greg. And, I think it says it all, the Rush Club mission statement. It says there's no quit, there's no better luck next time. There is now. We're in the business of removing excuses, replacing them with examples that inspire people to push past their comfort zone. When you're, it's just pretty amazing what you have going on. So explain to us what's going on next Saturday. This sounds like a really cool deal.
Yeah, I appreciate that. So next Saturday at Ability 360 starts at 7 o'clock. It's Rush Club number 10. So we've been formulating this new sport, if you will, this entertainment, that we utilize the athletes from the fastest growing training regimen in the world, which is CrossFit. And then we invite some of the most elite of those athletes to our stage to compete for a title. Now, what we've done that's unique is we borrowed the idea that Dana White and the Fertitta brothers brought to UFC, where we added weight class competition to the sport of functional fitness. The benefit of that is now you can watch these athletes that are equal in size compete while doing pre-programmed races, right? Exercises that are races that cater to the size of athlete you're watching. So that's kind of the formula we've created there, is that head-to-head weight class competition. We've added it to a whole new market of athletes, and it's the fastest growing market and industry in the world.
So this is the 10th one you put on so far.
It is, yeah. You're looking at it'd be like going to the early days of UFC. You know, this is the early days of Rush Club, and we have we've got direction and purpose in getting to that point where, you know, we're the number one head-to-head sport in the world.
That is really exciting, and of course you're pitting veterans, adaptive athletes, rookies, fitness pros against each other. And now, when you say adaptive athletes, describe that.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. So we did weight class for a couple of shows where we didn't really go outside the box, and then I realized, being a veteran myself, a lot of my brothers and sisters in combat came home missing limbs. And they're still putting up a fight. They're still going to the gym every day. They're living a life of no excuses, even missing limbs or in wheelchairs. And so I wanted to create an environment for them to still participate at an elite level, right? And so an adaptive athlete is an athlete missing an arm, a leg, or in a wheelchair. And now, because we're a fitness show, fitness entertainment, we can put athletes head-to-head, like two guys missing a leg is an equal match. Two girls missing an arm is an equal match. You can watch these ladies and these men just crush it, and they kind of remove all of the excuses we have about not going to the gym and not being physically fit. So we get a lot of the veteran community involved. After our first couple of veteran shows, we realized this wasn't, closed to civilians. So we opened it up to people who didn't serve in the military that are still missing limbs and in wheelchairs. And this is our adaptive athlete community, and they're phenomenal. They're unbelievable. So next weekend, we actually have our very first women's wheelchair title. So we have two ladies that are going to compete for the first women's wheelchair title. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That should be really cool. Now, when you say wheelchair title, so that's evidently a race, right?
Well, so what they'll be doing is these ladies have a workout that includes an 80-pound ball they have to pick up while sitting in their wheelchair. They've got to pick this ball up and throw it over their shoulders from a seated position.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's 80 pounds. So they're not, when I say a race, what I'm talking about is a workout that might be, let's say those balls are 80 pounds, and I'm going to have them do that 10 times over their shoulder, and then they're going to do 10 pull-ups using some rings. So they're going to pull themselves up just like anybody else would, and then they're going to do some sort of, I think they've got what's called a skier, where it's like a seated position where they can work their arms almost like skiing. So, yeah, so they're going to cycle through this challenge for about 3 rounds, and whoever gets done the fastest, whoever finishes it first, that's our champion. And the way these athletes are paired up, it'll literally come down to the last second or last rep every duel. So,
man, that's incredible. So that's really exciting. The crowd's probably excited, and I think Ed has a question here.
AJ, how do your athletes, how do they get involved with the organization? Do you recruit them? Do they come to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been recruiting them primarily. I scour social media looking for athletes to qualify. You know, this is not a show and tell. You definitely have to earn a right to be in our arena. So I'm constantly searching for athletes on social media, but athletes have started to reach out to us, which is great. So now my recruiting is getting easier. We've actually got athletes reaching out to us from Chile and Ecuador. Oh, wow. And so it's going global. So we're actually going to be flying athletes in from all over the world to start competing for these titles.
What type of screening process do you have once you find them? Do you bring them in for a workout, or how do you obtain the information?
Yeah, great question. So we currently have a website called rawfitnesscombine.com, and if you go there, you can find the qualifying workout for your weight class. So we programmed a workout that if you do that and film yourself and send me the link on YouTube, I can watch and compare your time to past champions. And if you're close to their time, that gives me a pretty good indicator that you can hang with those guys. And if you can, then I'm going to follow up with some more questions about how long you've been training, what your goals are, just different things like that, so I can qualify them for a match. So Sometimes you might show up as an undercard first and let me watch you win a couple of undercards. We're also using other competitions throughout the country. So every state has dozens of competitions put on by local CrossFit gyms. And so we look for the largest competitions in all the states across the country, and we look at who's winning those. And then we take the number 1, 2, and 3 position finishers from those high-level competitions, and that also contributes to our athlete pool.
So along with the good, obviously probably comes some bad. Have you had people send in videos that you literally looked at for like 5 seconds and like either laughed or turned it off?
Yeah. What's interesting is because we added the adaptive division, that actually happens more in the adaptive community. And it's not that necessarily their fault. What happened is, for a long time, if you were in a wheelchair or missing an arm or leg, a lot of competitions were inviting you out just sort of like a PR, right? It actually is really inspiring to watch these guys do this stuff when most of us give it, when you watch 2 guys missing an arm climb a rope with one arm, you can't believe what you've seen. You didn't think that would be possible, especially doing it multiple reps. So, wow. But that community is used to being invited to everything, regardless of whether they qualify. So, I've had to become a little bit more a little bit more strict than I ever anticipated, where somebody will reach out to want to compete and they're not quite in good enough shape to be there yet. It's like, hey, I'm not speaking to the injury. I'm speaking to the person. Spend a few more hours in the gym and you might qualify for a spot. So that's what I have started seeing as this sport grows. It's like I always joke, I say, look, I might be the same size as Conor McGregor, but doesn't mean I qualify for a shot at his title just because I'm the same size. I have to earn it.
Wow. Well, we're up against a hard break, and AJ Richards, really appreciate you calling in. It sounds fascinating. Give us the details where it's going to be, and how they get tickets and all those things. Yeah,
absolutely. So it's February 18th, this next weekend on Saturday at 7 o'clock. You can get tickets at rushclubnation.com. We look forward to seeing everybody out there. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Rush Club Nation as well.
And my understanding is going to be at Ability 360, great facility at 5031 East Washington Street in Phoenix. It's about 45,000 square feet, I think, right?
Yes, it'll be great. There's a 400-meter track that's elevated from the second floor that looks over the basketball court, which is where we're set up.
Oh, wow.
And so that'll be our VIP area. So you're going to have a second story of people just kind of looking over that area. So it just creates a really amazing, intense environment. We're the Fight Club of fitness, so sometimes it can feel that way.
Wow. Well, AJ, it's really an honor to have you on because I think you're doing a lot of good things for people that could have lost hope, and you give them something to hope for, to compete with, probably competitive all their lives. And that's a real credit to you, and thank you so much for calling in.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We exist to touch, move, and inspire people to action, and when you see this show, it kind of removes that. So thank you, guys. Thanks for helping us get the message out.
Absolutely. AJ Richards, CEO of Rush Club. Thank you so much. And again, we're on till 4, so we're at Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road. Come on down. We're having fun. UFC, no cover tonight. You should be here at Twin Peaks. We'll be right back with another special guest.
Every Monday through Friday, turn your dials to NBC Sports Radio AM 1060 from 2 to 3 p.m. as Uncle Buck, Shot Dog, and Polecat bring you For the Love of the Game.
And welcome back again to Breakthrough Sports, live from Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road in Phoenix. I'm Dave Isaac alongside Greg and Ed Smith, who picked the Super Bowl correctly, but his former team, the Atlanta Falcons, lost, and he was heartbroken. But he has the Super Bowl ring from the first time.
Well, I think, now that the game is over, it obviously is a little time for the guys to reflect and lick those wounds. I'm sure the owner, Arthur Blank, is going to take very good care of them when it comes to their championship ring. I was joking with one of my old teammates again that their ring is probably going to dwarf ours. But
oh yeah, probably. Yeah, so, that's a nice size ring.
This is nice, but I'll be very interested to see.
Can I borrow it for a month? I think Katie wants it. All right, I admit it. Katie wants it. So you're tempted to say, wait a minute, if Katie wants it, why should I give it to her? You're right. But that was well deserved and earned on your part, of course. No doubt about it. So we're scheduled to have Darren Carter, a comedian from Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. He should be here, but we will continue to talk sports until we hear from Darren Carter, who performs there tonight, by the way, at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. So that's always a cool thing. So back to the game, the Super Bowl. So, it's hard to get back there unless you're in New England. But Atlanta, they look like a pretty good team for their young defense, huh?
They do. What I worry about is already there's been a lot of turnover. They've lost their offensive coordinator, Shanahan. He went out to be the head coach in San Fran. Oh. They let their defensive coordinator go, and they've already made some changes along their other parts of their defensive coaching staff. So, and then the other part is what they call it the Super Bowl hangover. The losing team tends typically to have subpar season the following year, and whether that's because of the length of their season or, maybe, and then obviously you lose a lot of players to free agency when you're successful. A lot of those guys might go elsewhere, but, it could be, even the year that after the Falcons went to the Super Bowl the first time around, I actually left and went up to Detroit that year, but that following season they ended up going 4-12.
Wow! After
the Super Bowl run, I think they had 2 4-12 seasons in a row. So it's a lot to be said for that Super Bowl hangover.
Now, why would they let the defensive coordinator go when they had such a great year? Was it just because of the Super Bowl?
Well, I think head coach Dan Quinn was doing a lot of the actual coordinating of the defense. I think he was more involved than a lot of people knew. And if you think about it, the Falcons, they didn't have what you call a great defense. They were a good defense that got by on a lot because of their offensive prowess. So they, it looked like they had a great defensive season. It was kind of mediocre, and you got to look at some of the, the teams they played against each other this year, and then you start looking at the stats a little deeper. And like I said, a lot of it was smoke and mirrors. They actually gave up a ton of yardage, might have been in the middle of the pack as far as scoring, but they just weren't what you call a consistent, defensive juggernaut. So, whether some of that was the fallout of the blowout or the loss of that big lead, quite honestly, though, I would actually tend to put more of the blame of that game on the offense rather than the defense, because the defensive unit was out there for 91 plays or something.
Oh, that's a lot.
Some crazy amount of plays. I think in my career, the most I ever, a team that I was on, maybe somewhere in the 70, 75 range. So for, near 90 plays out there, people have no idea how run down that defense had to be toward the end of that game.
And part of that is because they only ran 5 times in the second half.
5 offensive running plays in the second half. When you have a lead,
you could run out that clock, and it would have run out.
Well, then another criticism that they're getting is, and I know you don't want to play slow down ball, but the Falcons late in that game were still snapping the ball with like 20, 25 seconds, 20, 15 seconds still left on the game clock.
Really?
Think about the number of times they could have came to the line of scrimmage, used some extra clock. You're taking Tom Brady and that offense, you're keeping them off the field by extending, and using some of that clock. They didn't do that. Was another, flaw game plan.
Now, how could that not be the coach's fault? Aren't those basic coaching,
Well, like
knowns?
I said, that moment can get very big. Everybody is not thinking clearly when you're in when you get caught in the magnitude of how big that game really is.
But you would figure, I'm not saying he's a bad coach, Dan Quinn, but you'd figure a great coach has everything. They know what's going on the whole time.
They should.
They should. That stat is astonishing to me, because that alone could have won them the game.
Well, what I've heard, which is kind of crazy and ludicrous to me. I've actually heard people say that he should be fired for that. You know, you look at where that organization has been over the last few years, and the fact that they did make it to the Super Bowl. They made it to the bid. There were only 2 teams that could say they were still playing last week.
That's true.
And, you know, whether you can say, okay, this is obviously valuable experience for them because you hope that they make it back and next time they can look at this and maybe with clearer eyes and clearer minds, you know, handle the situation a little better. But, you know, like I said, until you've been there, it's so tough for me at least, to have any type of, you know, I guess harsh criticism.
Yes, and I think our comedian is here. All right. So, but I agree with you. I don't think you should fire him over that. He brought him all the way to the Super Bowl. However, it's a shame, though. It was a winnable game.
Yeah,
definitely a winnable game, and it was an error, coaches
Dave,
or whatever.
It wasn't just winnable; they had the game. Like I said, you're up 28-3. You have a 25-point lead late in the third quarter. There's 0% chance you're supposed to lose that game.
Oh yeah. That's just a shame. You'd like to see, at least, if not a perfect game, you want to see perfect strategy, perfect coaching. And because that's controllable usually, I would think.
Yeah, and if you think about it on the flip side too, what does that say about Brady and the Patriots that they didn't just go? Because a lot of teams would have just came out in the second half or like basically shut it down at the end of the first half.
Impressive.
Yeah,
I think it's very impressive.
I'm more impressed with what the Patriots did than what I am at how the Falcons came up short. I'm actually more impressed on the other side.
I agree. I think that. And you look at the stats of Brady, you got to think, hey, this guy is maybe the best.
Well, he looked mortal in the first half. He
really
did.
It was horrible.
It was a great game plan by the Falcons. They came out and did exactly what they wanted to do. And then you had a couple balls bounced the wrong way. You had a pick six by Brady. You know, he looked very confused out there. But like I said, they went in and made the proper adjustments. And there was –
You got to hand it to them.
Yeah.
That sounds like good coaching to me.
Oh, good coaching.
All right.
Like I said, though, every player on that team, if you listen to a lot of the post-game interviews and as they've been interviewed through this week, the common denominator is at halftime, to a man, everyone that was interviewed said it was as calm as you could imagine in there. You know, we knew we had to make some adjustments, go out, and we just win it in the second half.
Wow.
I'll be honest with you. In my locker room when I was with the Falcons, we weren't down nearly as much as that. But there was like we were frazzled.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, because the moment was a little too big for us that evening. So for them to do what they did.
And you played against another great quarterback, John Elway.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, excellent. Well, let's get Darren Carter on the show. And there's Mitch coming in. So, Darren, why don't you have a microphone? Greg, let's get Darren set up with the mic. Oh, it's not? Oh, there's Darren. All right. I was talking to the wrong guy. But he was funny, though. That was all right. So we now have our favorite comedian.
Yes, Darren Carter, the party starter.
That's right. And you're going to be tonight at Rick Bronson's House of Comedy.
Yes.
How fun will that be?
Oh, it's great, man. I've had a blast. You know, every show I do, like, different material. I have 4 albums out, and so I'm not only doing some stuff that people know and love, I'm doing, like, new material, and it's the best. It is the best.
Really?
Yeah.
So and you're the writer of your own material, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, and that and my family, because they'll just do stupid stuff, and I just remember it, and I say it. Like, the other day, my kid, he's 9, he had on we were going to go visit his cousins, and my wife goes, Austin, why won't your pants fit? And he goes, oh, because I'm wearing 3 underwears. And she goes, what are you doing wearing 3 underwears? And he goes, I'm wearing 1 pair of underwear, and I was going to give the other 2 to my cousins.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he had like Spider-Man, and then like he had like a Batman, and he had like a Incredible Hulk or something.
Now, you've been on the Tonight Show, Jay Leno.
Yeah.
You've been, with John Travolta on To Be Cool, Comedy Central. You've had a lot of stuff. How's Jay Leno?
Some good moments. He's great. He's so nice. He's just like you imagine. You know, it's funny when I did the Tonight Show. See, I live in Burbank, and I was just telling my guy.
Hey, I grew up in the San Fernando Valley.
Did you really?
Yeah.
What city?
Well, I was born in Van Nuys when it was Van Nuys, and when I moved away, it was Northridge I lived in, and then Moore Park, which was Ventura County.
Oh, that's funny. So I grew up in Fresno.
Oh, you
which
do?
Is, yeah.
I thought Burbank.
Well, I live in Burbank, but I grew up in Fresno.
Got ya.
And they, do you remember that song, The Valley Girl? She's a Valley Girl.
I do.
She's a Valley Girl.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought it was about the San Joaquin Valley.
Oh.
And I'm like, we don't really talk like that. and then you move to the San Fernando, you're like, oh, this is it. This is where all these valley, totally tubular, man.
Exactly.
Like, that's what that is, yeah.
Wow, so Burbank.
Yeah, I live in Burbank, and when I did the Tonight Show, I lived, like literally a mile from the Tonight Show. And so they ask you, they go, hey, when you come here, would you like us to send a car, a limousine? And at the time, I was living in a studio apartment.
And you said yes to both.
You know what? Actually, I was
I could be your writer.
I know. I was embarrassed because, my wife and I at the time, we lived in a studio apartment. And I was like, no, I don't want a limo because I don't want it to be like Cinderella, like, oh, I'm in a limo, I'm doing the Tonight Show. And then I'm back to your studio apartment. Bye, Jay. Yeah, I'll see you later. I got a million cars. Yeah.
Wow, so you didn't go in the limo.
No, I drove myself. I was
okay.
like, yeah.
If they had Uber, you would have taken an Uber.
Taken an Uber to the Tonight Show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe
I know. You ever taken Uber? Have you guys taken one yet?
I've taken a Lyft, not an Uber.
Oh, because you have the mustache. You're like, hey, we're like bonding.
Yeah,
here.
that's right. I had good experiences so far. How about you? Is it good?
Yeah, it's all good, man. In fact, one time I was gonna say, in fact, the guy that when I came to Phoenix and they took me to the hotel, the guy recognized me, and at the end he's like, hey, let's do the selfie, and I was like, oh, cool. We had a very nice guy. Talked about like his service in the in Afghanistan, etc. But one time I was in an Uber, and I'll never forget, like it was probably my second or third time taking one. I didn't know that they kind of prefer you to sit in the back. And,
yeah.
So I sat in the front, and the seat was pushed so far to the dashboard, and I had an extra large pizza. So I get in the thing with the pizza, and the guy kept asking me about the pizza. It was like so awkward. He's like, hey, bro, like, that smells really good, man. Like, dang, what kind of pizza is that? And I was just like, man, I know he wants a piece. Oh, man. I was like, I don't know. It's my first time here. He's like, oh, man, I heard good things about it, man. I heard really good things. It smells great. I'm like, oh, yeah. And I'm just thinking, like, hurry up and get me to my destination.
Oh, my gosh. So he never said go in the back seat, though?
No, it was literally, and that time was funny.
No, what he said is, you go in the back seat, leave the cannolis.
Yeah, exactly.
No, or leave the pizza.
Yeah.
You know what movie that is, right?
No, what is it?
That's a Godfather. Leave the cannolis.
Oh, man.
Did you end up giving him a slice?
What's that?
Did you end up giving him a slice?
No, because you know what? My wife was already mad at me, so it's like the last thing I need to do is show up with a pizza with like some... With it looking like Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Like not quite a circle. There's like
that's how I roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't eat quite like Pac-Man, but sometimes. Wow. So tell us some people that influenced you growing up.
You know what, Robin Williams? I used to listen to a lot of comedy, and I loved Richard Pryor. I loved Eddie Murphy. I got to be honest though, like I liked Eddie Murphy first. I didn't know about Richard Pryor. My friend, I was at the time, I think I was like 13. And my friend goes, oh, man, you love Eddie Murphy? You're going to love Richard Pryor. And I just didn't connect with me at the time because I was a teenager and I was very young. And Eddie Murphy.
You still look young.
I still look, thank you. I still look young. But, like, Eddie Murphy was more like talking about bullies and stuff and just a little bit more relatable, And Richard Pryor was more for someone who's had life experience.
Or wanted new vocabulary we're not allowed to say in there.
Yeah, I got my camera out. I just want to see what this picture would look like. This is kind of cool. I feel
That's
like
a selfie?
Yeah. Oh, we'll do a video.
A video. Okay.
Do you want to say the name of the station and I'll?
Yeah,
I'll do it? Okay. Not yet. And 1, 2, 3, go.
Hi, Dave Isaac, NBC Sports Radio, AM 1060 KDUS in Phoenix. We're at Twin Peaks.
We are here doing a live remote. This is exciting.
Yes, we're doing
we're
taping right now.
Paid to do this. I feel like I should be doing air traffic control. With
yes,
this
that's
microphone.
right. Yeah. Wow, just don't go on strike. They did that once, remember? Air traffic control? That was craziness. How did they even?
I think
land
Ronald
the plane?
Reagan was like, "Well, let's go pick up some new air traffic controllers down at the Home Depot. They'll be waiting for anyone can do this. Don't let the dots connect."
Oh, that's funny. So you do impressions, huh?
You know, I used to do a lot of impressions, and then
I bet you do Robin Williams. Right?
I used to, yeah. Oh no, oh yeah, just real fast. But I met him at the San Francisco Comedy Club called Cobb's, and I was so nervous just to, all I could do was talk about the weather because the fog was rolling in, and he was like this close, and I went out there, and I didn't know he was there, and I went out there, and I was like, Robert, it's like literally 2 feet from me, and all I could say was like, "Hey, it's cold out here," and he goes, "Oh, it is. It's cold." And I was like, "Oh wow, I just interacted with this a legend,
He's fantastic.
When you told the story though.
Yeah.
You had a full conversation with him. You guys were
best
friends.
Oh, he gave me comedy advice. I gave him comedy advice. Yeah. I feel like I have to cough. I don't know if it's like
Yeah, you could do that.
A nervous tick or something.
You didn't turn your head, though.
I know, I'm trying, but like this microphone's like...
All right, you didn't get it, but that did.
Oh, turn your head. Oh, I got you. The doctor. Yeah.
Anyway, so what so Robin Williams, Eddie Murphy, England, anyone else?
Tons of people. You know what's so funny? And I love doing radio. Like some kids grew up watching HBO, and I watched that a little bit, but in television, like their parents would let them watch SNL or whatever. I watched like
Did you say S&M?
Yeah, I love S&M. It's By the way, can I just tell you? Oh man, you have a nice ring.
Oh yeah, you noticed.
No, what is that for?
Super Bowl ring.
Super Bowl ring.
Can you believe it? We did it for you.
Thank you.
We knew you were coming.
Congratulations.
Thank you, man. I appreciate
now
it.
your ring is gone. It's gone.
I'm also the magician. Let me tell you a quick joke. Wait. Okay. It's about the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay, I don't know which side you were on. I'm like, it's like, hey, don't make my team the punchline. But here's what I wrote. I like my women like I like my... Oh, wait, how's it go? I like my women like I like my Falcons. Coming hard and then choking. There you go.
Not bad. Well, he played for Atlanta.
Damn it.
Yeah.
I knew something like that was going to happen.
But he thought New England
I
would win.
thought New England. When I had to make my picks, I thought New England was actually.
That was a great. Okay, now this is sports, so we'll talk a little sports. I got to tell you, I'm a new fan to football. Like it was always like on TV. I'd kind of watch it. I wasn't one of those guys. It's like this is my team, but I live in LA, and I'm like, we never had a team for years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now,
that's right.
And now, now we're gonna have the
two teams.
Yes, two teams. The Rams and the Chargers, and then maybe even the Raiders. Somebody said that maybe they'll come back. Who knows? Whatever. But one of my buddies, hilarious comedian Argus Hamilton, he writes topical material every day, and he puts them on Facebook, and he does them on radio. And the joke that he said is, Los Angeles is now becoming a sanctuary city for failing football teams.
That's funny.
But when the Rams came, I'm like, yes, I'm going to get on board because it's like they haven't been here in so long, and I'm going to be a Rams fan. So I went out and I bought all the clothes and everything, and I'm doing it. And so sometimes on stage, people will be like, I love football. I'm like, dude, I love football too. And I'll pull up my pants, and I'm like, look at this. I got a Rams socks. And I was somewhere, and the crowd booed me. I'm like,
booed you?
I was like, what are you guys booing? We have a team. And I go, you know what? I'm prepared. And I pull up the other leg. I got a Charger sock.
That is funny.
I'm writing sports jokes now because I realize because you guys, I used to come on sports talk, and I'd be like, wow, the sports I like aren't really, I like chess,
I like chess.
Are you? But I can't.
Well, you like chess.
I can't really talk about though. It's like there's nothing really.
Oh, it's exciting.
What'd you play when you were younger? Did you play any organized?
Oh yeah, I played. Cross country.
Oh.
I played wrestling a little. I played wrestling. That sounds funny.
That sounds weird.
Yeah, I know. Who wants to play wrestling? How about you, darling? Yeah. This is. I just realized this is great. We're in this beautiful place. It's called Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And
have you seen the women?
That's what I'm saying. I like how the radio hosts have the best view. My back is to the whole restaurant.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a wall.
They have special outfits on because all weekend through Valentine's Day, Tuesday,
I'm going to turn around and watch.
Sweetheart Week dress up.
Lingerie
it's all
day.
lingerie.
Wow.
It's all lingerie. We interviewed one, and I said, can I peek? And I think she said yes, as she slapped me.
Twin Peaks. Oh, man, there's a whole bunch of them over there. They must be having a meeting.
Yeah.
Look at that table. There's literally 11
But they're wearing
women.
lingerie. I'd recommend people come down here. It's a great place, by the way.
That might be the afternoon shift coming in.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. This is
Yeah.
way better than.
Yeah, it's a really cool place. The owners are great, management's great.
I rolled here with my buddy.
I thought he was you.
Yeah, I just sent him, and I'm like, I got to use the restroom. Give him some
His
stickers.
jokes weren't as good as yours.
All right, yay! No.
Is he a comedian?
He's the manager of the comedy club.
You are?
Yeah, this is Nico.
And then you were really good. No, I know Rick. Rick's a nice guy. Rick Bronson.
When we rolled in, I think I kind of explained what this was, but I don't know if he really quite understood. But two of the waitresses were walking in for their shift, and he was like, "Holy cow!
Where are we?"
I'm like, "Dude, that's where we're going." And he's like, "Really?" And then you forgot, I think. And then we walked in. You're like, "Man!" I'm like, "Dude, this is part of our job."
Yeah. Not only that, but if you met one of the waitresses, Ed and I can do the play-by-play. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I love it.
You can use that tonight.
Hey, here's one of the. I will play-by-play. I'm getting sidetracked. There's a reason I'm supposed to face the wall. Don't look around.
Oh, you're married.
Yes, exactly. 19 years. My wife is even-tempered. She's always mad.
Oh, that's good. So
Okay.
you got a show at 7:30 tonight.
Yeah, 7:30 tonight.
9:30 tonight.
9:30 tonight.
Tomorrow
we're doing one show at 7:30. All the shows have been packed. Last night, early show was sold out. I want the
Oh, wow.
Yeah, this place is amazing. It's like it's a new part of town, I think, and all this
it's
stuff
called
is new.
High Street.
High Street.
And it is on High Street. So it's in and on High Street.
Yeah.
It used to be called City North. It's
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
nice place. And the venue is Rick Bronson's House of Comedy. Is a great place to watch comedy.
It is. Can I tell you my other sports joke that I wrote?
Yeah.
Because I told you these new football jokes are new to me. Okay, so I'm excited. All right, so this is during preseason, and the Rams kept winning, and I was like, yes, and then they started losing. But then I realized, winning a football game in preseason, that's like a comedian saying, I killed at sound check.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Hey, that's good.
Yeah, it's good, right?
I like
it.
Yeah.
I got a couple sports fans that follow me online and stuff, and they'll be like, that was a good one. I'm like, yes. Yes.
That is very cool. Well, you got the pro here, Ed.
Man.
He knows.
Did you work out with tires back in the day? Did they have you do that tire thing?
You mean
flip the
flipping
tires and all that?
That and pulling those doggone sleds. Those were.
Wow.
You did that too?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's why I'm so beat up today. All that doggone. Yeah.
Man.
I joined a boxing gym about a year ago, and they have the tire out there, and I've been doing that tire workout, and it's like, and I think they stole it from football or something.
Well, no, that's a lot of that CrossFit. I joined the CrossFit gym some years ago when I was still able to do that kind of stuff. And they had us out there, and some of those tires, those
tractor tires,
they're this tall. You're out there flipping those things, and those are good workouts.
Oh man,
it's incredible, man.
It is.
You do the CrossFit, or you just?
I joined the boxing gym. I don't really spar though. I'm like, let me just get in shape.
But you get in the ring with people.
I did it like twice.
What happened?
I stopped doing it. No, I did it twice. Like as far as like just to like show you what to do. Like literally the first time I went in there, it was the second week I'd been to the boxing gym, and the coach goes like this. He goes, "Okay, what we're gonna do now?" And by the way, the coach, his name is Coach Ward. He used to spar with George Foreman back in the 70s to help him prepare for Muhammad Ali, and he sparred with I think Leon Speaks. He's been around. So he goes, today we're going to do a trust exercise. And for some reason, I thought he meant like I'm going to cross my arms and fall backwards into his arms. And
that sounds scary.
I know, even that was scary. And he goes, I want you to put on this headgear. And I'm like, headgear? What for? And he goes, because you're going to get in that ring. I'm like, I've never been in there. I know you never have. That's why you need to see what it feels like. And,
man.
But it was good, though. There was a guy that went in there that had been boxing for like 12 years. And the guy didn't really punch me. He was just like, hey, I'm just going to tap you just to be like, I could have got you. I could have got, and that's all I got dizzy. I was out of breath. You don't realize, like they tell you have to like, remember to breathe, relax. It's all that stuff Okay, relax, breathe.
Adrenaline kicks in.
Yeah, you're just like, And the second time I did it, it was even, I was more experienced, but still no experience really. And this guy was great. He put on those pads and the headgear and everything. He goes, all I want you to do is punch me in the face.
That's all.
And he goes, and I'm gonna work on my defense. I won't punch back. You just gotta. And he goes, all right. And right away he goes, all right, punch me in the face. And it's a weird thing. I just met this dude. It's like a weird, like, I'm not even angry at him. Like, I don't know what. It's a weird, like, if you've never, like, you've done physical sports. You're like, all right, let's go. I was more like, do I have to, like, And so then I tried to, and even that was tiring.
Did you punch him?
I did.
How'd you do?
I didn't do very good because he was so fast and he moved around. Finally, I kind of got him into the corner, but then I felt like I was cheating because it's like, and he was still like dipping and slipping and like.
And you let him have it.
Not really, because it was like, I still have compassion. I was like, because I'm not there yet. It's not like it's even, It's like. Yeah, and plus, I don't think it would even hurt him because he was like so good at like maneuvering.
Wow.
They say you're supposed to be like a sandbag, not like an ice sculpture.
Yeah. I see you know your boxing,
Oh,
no
can I
doubt.
tell you one quick joke real quick?
Yeah, we only have a minute.
Okay, they'll be even faster. There's a pro. He's fighting. I know him. His name is Gerald Washington. He's going to fight February 25th. It's going to be on Fox. He's going for the title against Deontay Wilder.
Wow, you know your stuff.
I totally know this guy. Well, I know him. His name is El Gallo Negro. And he gave me some advice at the boxing gym. He goes like this. He goes, give me a jab. And I go like this. I go, like I go, psh. And he goes, now give me two and make it faster. And I go, psh, psh. And he goes, the sound effect got faster.
Hey, that's good.
Yeah.
Wow, we're out of time. Can you believe it? But tonight, Rick Bronson's House of Comedy.
That's right. My new album is called The Party Continues.
Oh, I love it.
That's
Darren
right.
Carter.
Yes.
So get out and see it tonight or tomorrow, 7:30, 9:30 tonight, 7:30 tomorrow. And let's stay in touch.
We will. Thank you guys for having me, man. It's been an honor.
You're more.
And thank you for doing it here at Twin Peaks.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, we did it for you. Now you're on your own with all the beautiful women.
Yeah.
But we are at Twin Peaks, located at 2135 East Camelback Road, Phoenix. Come on down. They're open till 1. UFC fight tonight. No cover. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week.
Thank you.
This is
Darren
Breakthrough
Carter on
Sports.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Darren
yes.
Carter.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. iTunes, Amazon. Look me up. Darren Carter.
All right.